Luton it is open, the fans are filing in. The game here on Friday night at home to West Ham, live and exclusive on Talksport, is set to go ahead. This seen as a tester for that game, and so far they are passing the test. There was a lot of work going on this afternoon. There was a tractor on the pitch, or at the side of the pitch earlier today. The bobbers stand with all the glass front has been completely removed and replaced by a very shallow 10-row stand in front of us with a roof above it where the broadcasters can position their cameras, etc. So it's not exactly all change at Luton, but certainly some of it has changed. We'll describe that in more detail a little bit later on from live here at Kenilworth Road as the floodlights power on just as I'm speaking. The All Premier League tie live on Talksport 2 tonight is where we start though. Fulham have never won a major trophy, and it feels like ages since Spurs won a major trophy. At Craven Cottage with the team, Sam Matface.
Well, things have started so well for Ange Postecoglou that even Robbie Williams has jumped on the bandwagon. He recorded a Spurs chant to the tune of Angels after a third game unbeaten for the Antipodean. But that optimism will be short-lived if a route to silverware closes before the end of August. And Fulham have already upset half of North London this week. Calvin Bassey is suspended, but Tim Ream is back. They make 6 changes, Fulham, from that 2-2 draw against Arsenal. Rodak is their goalkeeper, their right-back Teti. It's Diop and Ream at the heart of defence, with Robinson at left back after doing so well against Bukayo Saka at the weekend. Palhinha and Reed, the two holders in midfield. Traore on the right, De Cordova, Reed on the left, with Kearney behind Nunez in attack. Big hitters on the bench for Tottenham, but 9 changes. Forster's their goalkeeper, Royale's the right back, Sanchez, Van de Ven and Davis make up the back 4. It's Skip and Højbjerg in midfield with Lo Celso in the 10. The right-sided winger Solomon, left side Perisic, through the middle Richarlison, still looking for a goal, Adrian.
Well, he'll need one tonight. Maybe he'll get one tonight. That's live on Talksport 2. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free. You can swipe between the two stations, Talksport and Talksport 2, with ease, or simply tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. You will be needing the app over the course of the season. Some of our commentaries throughout the season will only be on the app, and there's a whole list of live games, forthcoming live commentaries that we've got that you can find on the app as well as podcasts, and you can listen back to shows that have been on in the last few days as well if you check out the schedule. Championship taking on Premier League in South Wales tonight at 7:30 kick-off for Swansea against Bournemouth with Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
Well, it doesn't matter which division they're in, to be honest, as these two teams are without a league win between them. Both changed managers in the summer, new philosophies, both showing flashes of it coming together, but both definitely a work in progress. And with Rob Page naming his Wales squad tomorrow, there's 7 players across the 2 lineups that he could call on, although that would mean Joe Allen making an unlikely U-turn in his international retirement. But the Swans make 5 changes from the weekend defeat to Preston. Allen is one of those coming into the side, so Rushworth stays in goal. Cabango, Norton and Darling the back 3, Key and Abdullahi the wing backs, Grimes, Allen and Janelli the 3 behind Cullen and Cooper. As for the Cherries, 7 changes, with Wales David Brooks one of those. He's also got the captain's armband this evening. So it's Radu in goals, Kelly, Senesi, Mepham and Aarons the back 4, Rothwell and Billing anchor midfield, Anthony Traore and Brooks the 3 behind Moore. In Abertari, it's Swansea against Bournemouth.
Well, here at New Look Kenilworth Road, it's Premier League whipping boys, Luton against League 2 high flyers, Gillingham alongside me, Joe Shannon.
Yes, a new era for Luton as a Premier League club, a brand new bobbers stand on the far side, gone are the ramshackle old executive boxes. They've been replaced by a single tier of blue seats, about 10 rows high, new media facilities too. But while everybody is looking forward to Friday night and their first Premier League home game against West Ham, live here on Talksport, tonight's opponents are a team Luton are familiar with from their recent days in the lower reaches of the EFL. Gillingham arrive here, second in League 2. They knocked out Southampton in round 1 but suffered a first defeat of the season at home to Colchester this weekend. Boss Neil Harris has made 5 changes. Masterson, Max Clark, Jaden Clark, McKenzie and Bonnell return. Turner in goal, Alexander, Amer, Ogie, Malone and Masterson in defence. with Dieng and Max Clark ahead of them, Mackenzie, Jaden Clark and Bon in support of Nadasan up front. As for Luton, League Cup winners in 1988, 8 changes following the defeat to Chelsea live on Talksport, so Luton without a point after their first 2 Premier League matches of the season, both of those away from home. 8 changes including a debut for goalkeeper Tim Krul, first starts for Chidozie Ogbene and Jacob Brown, who also come in. So Krul in goal, Anderson, Lockyer and Bell, the latter 2 both survivors from last Friday night. Those are the 3 defenders. Doughty, Mpanzu, Berry and Giles, another survivor in midfield. Woodrow, Ogbene and Brown are the front 3. Here at a new look Kenilworth Road, it is Luton Town against Gillingham.
Well, I was there when Gillingham knocked Brentford out of this competition last season, and the Bees have League 2 opponents again as they head to Newport. This one watched by Talksport's Ian Danta.
It's 35 years since Newport County and Brentford have met in a competitive match. The Exiles sit in the League 2 playoff places. Striker Will Evans already 7 to his name, but he doesn't feature at all tonight for Graham Coughlin's side. He makes 5 changes from the 3-1 win over Sutton at the weekend. John Maxted comes in goal. Josh Sebury, Matty Bonswell on loan from Newcastle, fit again Omar Bogle and James Waite are recalled by Newport County. As for Brentford, well, they have semi-final and quarter-final appearances in the past 3 League Cups, but of course that defeat to Gillingham on penalties last season still smart. Unbeaten in the Premier League for Thomas Frank, he makes 9 changes from the 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace. Only Vitaly Janalt and Kevin Schade, who scored that lovely goal for Brentford, survived. There are 3 debuts. Ellery Balcombe has been on the books for 7 years at Brentford, finally makes a debut in goal. And Johor Yarmioluk and Michael Olakigbe make debuts from the Brentford B team, amongst many other players coming in, like the fit again Ben Mee at Rodney Parade. It's Newport County against Brentford.
Championship Plymouth host Premier League Palace with the teams at home park. It's John Roder.
Well, you have to have quite a long memory to remember the last time that Plymouth Argyle last reached the 3rd round of the League Cup. It was back in 2007, and last year's League One champions make 9 changes from the side that narrowly lost late on to Birmingham City at the weekend. The men that remain, Dan Scarr and Kane Kessler-Hayden coming in. Ben Hain, the New Zealand striker who got both goals in their first round 2-0 win over Leyton Orient here. Roy Hodgson says that the League Cup hasn't been a priority during his time in charge at Crystal Palace. Maybe that'll change this season. 7 changes made by the veteran manager. Sam Johnston, Tyrick Mitchell, Jefferson Lerma and Odson Edouard, the survivors from the weekend. At home park, it's Plymouth Argyle against Crystal Palace.
2-time League Cup winners Wolves host League One Blackpool tonight at Molineux for Talksport. It's Adam Bridge.
Yeah, first League Cup meeting in 60 years between these 2 sides, and only the 3rd in 117 years of fixtures. They won their first game of the season at the weekend, of course, against Everton did Wolves, and they want to banish the Nunez talk and his strike for this evening. 9 changes from Gary O'Neill. Silva and Kilman, the only 2 that survived from the weekend. Bentley comes in goal. Doherty gets his 2nd debut for the club at right back, alongside Totti, Kilman and Johnny, with Sarabia, Traore, Hodge and Ait-Nouri in midfield, with Kaladzic, who scored at the weekend, getting his first start of the campaign alongside Fabio Silva. Amongst the substitutes, 15-year-old Emilio Ballard Matthews. Good job it's the school holidays, eh? He's joined from Watford back in May. As for Blackpool, they won their first 2 games of the season, but haven't won in 4 since. A big defeat against Lincoln on Saturday. 7 changes from that defeat. Ekpiteta, Dougal, Connolly and Beasley are the only ones who survived, but Pennington, who used to ply his trade at times at Walsall and Everton, comes into a back line. It's Wolves against Blackpool at Molineux.
Well, this was the League Cup final in 2000. Tranmere take on Leicester. Prenton Park for Talksport. It's Mark Wilson.
And in that final was Joe Murphy, the goalkeeper for Tranmere, 23 years on. He's goalkeeper again tonight, 42 years old. He comes in, one of 4 changes for Ian Dawes' side from the defeat at Notts County. There's a debut for new signing Dan Pike as well. It's Murphy in goal, Yarney, Davis, Turnbull and Pike at the back. Mary Hendry and Hawkes across the middle, with Jennings, Taylor and Morris up top. For Leicester, Enzo Maresca makes 6 changes from the win at Rotherham, but it's still a very strong side. Out go Hermansen, Ricardo Vestergaard and Didi and Iheanacho are all on the bench. Casey McAteer, the 2-goal start of the weekend, is rested. As Stolarczyk, Justin Chowdhury, Cassidy, Albrighton and Vardy come in. So Stolarczyk in goal, Justin Fass and Doyle in the back 3. Albrighton, Winks, Chowdhury and Dewsbury Hall across the middle, with Cassidy and Mavididi up alongside Jamie Vardy. At Prenton Park, it's Tranmere against Leicester.
And this was the League Cup final in 2004. Bolton take on Middlesbrough at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. It's Talksport's Mickey Gray.
And it's high-flying Bolton welcome a struggling Middlesbrough to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium tonight, with a place in the third round of the Carabao Cup waiting for the winners. Ian Evatt back in the technical area and makes 7 changes. Top scorer Adebayo is only on the bench. Life after Akpon and Archer isn't gone so well for Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. Their only win this season has come in this competition. He'll be hoping that continues here tonight. 7:45 kickoff here at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. It's Bolton against Middlesbrough.
Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson took Bradford to the League Cup final in 2013. They were a League 2 side at the time. Both of these in League 2 now at the racecourse for Talksport. Dave Rowe.
Yes, that was a tremendous run for the Bantams just over 10 years ago, taking out Arsenal and Villa on the way to Wembley, and Parkinson enjoyed more heroics with Wrexham in the FA Cup last season. Their league games this term have been full of drama, although only one win. Bradford have won twice, and this game brings Mark Hughes back to the club he supported and the ground where he made his international debut. There are 5 changes for Wrexham, with Elliot Lee and Ollie Palmer amongst those to drop out. It'll be Sam Dolby and Jake Bickerstaff up front. Bradford leave out Andy Cook amongst 4 changes. Smallwood comes into midfield. It's Smith and Walker up front. It's Wrexham against Bradford, or should that be Parky against Sparky at the racecourse ground?
Very good. Salford Leeds kicks off at 8 with the teams at the Peninsula. Jim Proudfoot.
It's a repeat of Salford's first ever League Cup tie, which Leeds won 3-0 here 4 years ago. And as a mark of how quickly things change in this part of the world, there are no players who featured that night for Salford who played tonight. Only Jamie Shackleton starts for Leeds of their 11 that day. Salford do include 2 former Leeds players, keeper Alex Cairns and striker Matt Smith, with 3 changes to the team that lost to Accrington at the weekend. Adrian Mariappa, who played in 2 FA Cup finals, is amongst those recalled. Leeds retain 5 of the 11 that won at Ipswich. Joel Perreault is cup tied. Darlow and Somerville are recalled for only the second appearances of their season. Archie Gray keeps his ever-present record, and both Ruta and Nonto also start. Salford looking to reach round 3 for the first time in their history against Leeds.
And 4 years ago, that tie among the scorers for Leeds that night, Eddie Nketiah. Still at Arsenal now, is on loan at Leeds at the time. Seemed to fall out with Bielsa, I recall. Also at 8, it's League 1 Reading against Championship Ipswich at the SCL. Here's Ian Abrahams.
And it's 4 years since these two last met. A game at Portman Road that Reading won 2-1 in the Championship. Both looking to bounce back though after weekend defeats. Reading 2-1 at Exeter and Ipswich 4-3 at home in a thriller to the aforementioned Leeds United. As for the team news, 8 changes for Reading tonight. Only Carson Vickers and Mbenge stay in their team. They do include 18-year-old Basil Tuma, a former head boy at Eton, and he could figure for Malta against England at Wembley later in the season. As for Ipswich, 11 changes for them. A first start for Brandon Williams on loan from Manchester United, and Amari Hutchison, who's on loan from Chelsea. It's Reading against Ipswich here at the Madstad.
Forget who they were playing. Brilliant. Let's bring in our guys for tonight. The former England winger Trevor Sinclair is at Tranmere against Leicester tonight, and we discussed it on Talksport 2 between 6 and 7. Trevor, but what a story. Joe Murphy in goal for Tranmere 23 years after being in goal for Tranmere at Wembley against Leicester. Incredible.
It's a great story. Listen, it's a great story. I think it's a massive tip of the cap from anyone who's played football above 35, because it's really difficult, to be a professional, to continue to go into training and be competitive day in, day out. And I know it's slightly different because you're goalkeeping. You don't have to go tearing around the football pitch for 90, 95, maybe 100 minutes the way it's going. But still, to have them reactions, to stay hungry, to keep looking after yourself, and to be a good role model for the rest of the pros at the football club. I think it's absolutely brilliant for him to be playing tonight.
Matt Holland is at our commentary game over on Talksport 2, which is Fulham against Spurs. The one name that surprised me, and I know Marco Silva talked about wanting a reaction, but Paulinho, I think, is absolutely vital for Fulham this season if they're going to establish themselves, stay in the Premier League. So I was maybe a bit surprised to see him in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, possibly. He's only made 6 changes, whilst he's Ange Postecoglou for Spurs has made 9. I think that in terms of the team news, the interesting one for me is Manor Solomon. Obviously against his former club. He got 4 league goals here at Craven Cottage last season. Richarlison starting for Spurs with them making 9 changes. He's kept his place alongside Mickey van der Ven. They're the only 2 that start after the weekend's win against Bournemouth. But he's only yet to score this season. Only had 4 shots in the 3 games that he's played so far this season. And the other talking point is Marco Silva won't be on the touchline tonight because he's in 3 games already picked up 3 yellow cards.
Absolutely incredible. He's a passionate man. That's Matt Holland, the Ireland captain former Ireland captain on co-commentary duty. Fulham against Spurs on Talksport 2 tonight. Alongside me at Kenilworth Road, the former League Cup finalist, FA Cup winner Alvin Martin. And I've just been looking at the Luton team. I'm kind of disappointed Ross Barkley's only on the bench tonight. I wanted to see him start, but also goals. If Luton are to score on the bench as well, Carlton Morris and Elijah Adebayo both subs tonight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed myself as well, Adrian. But I think what's important now, it's unfamiliar, isn't it, for Luton? They're there to be shot at. They used to be in the underdog and using that to their advantage tonight. It's Neil Harris's team in that position, and he said that it is a free hit for his team, and they've got a record of raising their game. Brentford have knocked out recently, Wolves. They've got a big game mentality, so he'll be looking at keeping it tight. I love they lost the game against Colchester at the weekend. Prior to that, they hadn't conceded them. I think so. From that point of view, he will set his stall out tonight to be hard to beat, to not give them any enthusiasm in terms of getting the crowd on their side. So I think it's a game really. In the first 10 or 15 minutes, Rob Edwards has to really get at it. He has to keep the tempo of the game up and really get this crowd on side, give them something to cheer and use that atmosphere that they're hoping to be able to use in the Premier League.
Well, song they've just played on the public address system, Hard to Beat by Hard Fi. So you've got that right. Both teams warming up here at Kenilworth Road. Round the grounds with all the goals here on Talksport and on Talksport 2. It's Fulham against Spurs. Live commentary of the Carabao Cup second round. Well, coming up on Talksport, it's a big night of Carabao Cup second round action, and we'll take you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. On Talksport 2, it's commentary of Fulham against Spurs, as at least one Premier League side will go out tonight. Your team at Craven Cottage, former Ireland captain Matt Holland, alongside Sam Matterface. Alex Apati from Ladbrokes. Let's start with that commentary game on Talksport 2. Fulham taking on Spurs, all Premier League.
Yeah, good evening, Adrian. Tottenham odds-on favourites tonight, 3-4 they are. So Fulham, despite being the hosts, are 13-4 outsiders here, and the draw at 90 minutes is just under 3-1. If you fancy either team to win on penalties, they're 6-1 apiece. I think it's been 10 years since Fulham last beat Tottenham. In that time, 8 wins and 1 draw for Spurs. And the last time these two met in the League Cup was November 2001. Barry Hales, Sergei Rebrov and Simon Davis all on the score sheet in a 2-1 win for Tottenham. If you do fancy both teams to score here tonight, like me, you'll get a 1-2. Carlos Vinicius, I think, is on the bench, isn't he? Never really got going at Spurs, did he? But he is 13-2 to come back and haunt them and score the last goal tonight. Richarlison, another Brazilian striker who is in desperate need of a goal. He's 5-4 for a goal at any time. And I'm half tempted to take that on, actually. I think he starts, doesn't he?
He does start, and you're right, Vinicius is on the bench. What about the rest of the games? Where's the value tonight?
Yeah, I got burnt in the last round, didn't I? I went with 2 or 3 favourites who I thought were generously overpriced, and I think between them they lost about 9-1 combined. So
yeah, you did well.
A little bit. I do think Sheffield Wednesday, good value again, even money to beat Mansfield. I think they're at home, aren't they, too? Both teams to score in Wrexham versus Bradford is a 4-7 shot, and it's happened in all but one of Wrexham's games so far this season. I do think that if you're following Wrexham at all, then it's well worth backing them, both teams to score in any of their games this season. That double, the Sheffield Wednesday win and the Wrexham Bradford both teams to score, pays just over 2-1. If you fancy an upset as well, maybe look at Salford to beat Leeds, just under 5-1. I'm not really sure why, but that treble anyway. Sheffield Wednesday win, Salford win, and both teams to score in Wrexham Bradford pays quite a tasty 17-1 or just over.
Well, the only thing with the Wrexham thing, just very quickly on this, Ben Foster's retired. He was the one letting in all the goals. Mark Howard was in for the first round of the Carabao Cup and it finished 0-0 against Wigan. And he did concede at Barrow, to be fair to you. It was a worldie from Emil Aqua, though. So not many keepers would have stopped it. So I'm intrigued by that one, but you never know. You do expect goals with Wrexham. You're absolutely right. What about Premier League and the reaction we've had after a few games so far this season? We're beginning to find out who's going to struggle, who might surprise us. Any outright odds or top 4 relegation we should look out for?
Yeah, unsurprisingly, say Arsenal have drifted slightly. They're granted 3 games in, but are playing catch up with City, so they're now 7-1 from 13-2 to win the league. Man City are 1-2, Liverpool 9-1, and Chelsea are 16. You've got a fear for everyone chasing City, though. It doesn't really feel like they've stepped out of first gear yet, and they're 3 from 3, aren't they? Every other side is 20-1 or bigger. Top 4 Still looks like it'll be City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and then Newcastle actually at the moment. Maybe there's value in the 12-5 on Tottenham, but we can't get too carried away just yet, can we? Bottom of the table, Luton are 2-7 to go down. They're 50-1 as things stand to take Derby's unwanted record of lowest Premier League points tally. Sheffield United 4-9, and still Everton are the third most likely side for the drop at 6-4.
Alex, thanks very much. That was a look at the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+, begambleaware.org. I'm just watching Gillingham in the warm-up. Macaulay Bonds just slotted home his first shot in shooting practice. Was absolutely dreadful. He's got some skills, though, when they were showing off as footballers do in the warm-up. He's certainly got the skills, but he's in League Two, and there's a reason for that. It's Luton Gillingham here tonight. We can go down to the touchline where Talksport's Joe Shannon has got the visiting manager with him. Joe.
Thanks, Adrian. Yes, the Gillingham boss, Neil Harris, is with me pitchside. Neil, thanks for talking to us so soon before a game. Just tell us the thinking about your team selection tonight.
We don't want to come here and get beat 5 or 6, against a Premier League side. So we want to make sure we're competitive and stand up to Luton's strengths. But we have got nothing to lose, really. No one expects us to win. No one expects us to beat Southampton, barring probably myself, having watched their games in a way, set the team up, and we did that. So for us, in the last 12 months, we've won at Brentford. We got beat very narrowly at Wolves. We got beat against the run of play by Leicester at home. We've now played Southampton. So the fans have seen some really good games. And we come to Luton tonight. So we want to give a good account of ourselves. But yeah, free hit, I suppose it is really, because no one expects anything from us.
And you've been part of cup shocks before as a player and as a manager. Are cup competitions, whether it's the FA Cup or the League Cup, is it something that has always excited you across your career, the chance to cause an upset?
I think that's the biggest thing. FA Cup competitions, when you've got a chance of winning, they're exciting, or a chance to progress as I've not been a Premier League manager, but a top championship sides or playing in the championship, you've got an opportunity to progress to the later stages with the luck of a draw. When you're a lower league manager, then for us it is just all about trying to progress for prize money in the competition for the club, but also to cause those upsets. And we did it last year, unbelievably, when we couldn't win a game of football in the League One at Brentford. Nearly beat Wolves and Leicester in different competitions. And then we've already beat Southampton this season. So it's just an opportunity for the lads to showcase themselves against top players.
And you know this ground, I'm sure you played here in the past. I'm sure some of your players know this ground. Is it strange to think of this as a Premier League club now?
I've got to say, I've got so much admiration for Luton Town and what they've done. And the biggest thing for me, look at the surroundings, the Kenilworth Road for years hasn't been a brand new modern stadium, but it's got so much charm and character. I love playing here as a player. I love managing here. The atmosphere's been a great atmosphere tonight, their first game back in 3 months. I can't be happier for them as a football club and prouder of sort of the English pyramid system to see Luton back in the Premier League. It's going to be a difficult season for them, but one they're certainly going to enjoy.
And does it give hope, lastly, to clubs of Gillingham's size, maybe, that actually, the impossible dream, as they call it, can be made possible one day? You can rise up the leagues in that kind of way?
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it? You look at Brighton, who sort of 20 odd years ago were bottom of the Football League. Brentford have been bottom of the Football League, and playing, both those teams are not just playing in the Premier League, but they're established Premier League clubs recruiting top players. You look at Luton now, they've gone from the fall of dropping out of the Football League and losing 25 points to ending up back in the Premier League now. So clubs like ourselves that is just starting to progress, just starting with a new home, just starting with an infrastructure, it gives us hope that in time to come, Joe, we're not going to rush anything, but clubs like Gillingham, yes, we can get there in one day.
Neil, good luck. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Well, interesting stuff from Neil Harris, who makes his way down the tunnel with the Gillingham players who've just finished their warm-up. They've gone over to their fans to applaud them and then gone down the tunnel away to our left for those final words from their manager before kick-off in 15 minutes time. You're listening to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org. Well, it's time now on Talksport to look at the latest football action with Ladbrokes. Just watching Tom Lockyer, the Luton captain, lead his players off towards the tunnel for their final words from manager Rob Edwards. They were all just ambling along, walking along, applauding the fans, to be fair to them, and then Tom Lockyer turned to them all and said, come on, let's get running, let's look bright, let's look sharp. And they all started running in towards the tunnel, picture taken, and then down that tunnel towards the dressing room. Sub's still out there warming up. Carlton Morris has just left the pitch, the last one to go. But Alvin Martin, I sense there's it'll be huge here Friday night against West Ham, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. Their first ever Premier League game, the first game of the season in the Premier League, first one at this new look stadium as well. That will be some atmosphere, and we're privileged to bring it to you on Talksport. But Ross Barkley in front of us applauding the fans. These fans love this team. It's almost like they don't have to do anything. They're adored, admired. The adulation is clear for all to see. There's no hurdle there for Rob Edwards to get over. He's got the fans on side straight away.
Absolutely, and we use the phrase, don't we? Sometimes too much the 12th man. This will be a 12th man situation here at Kenilworth Road on 2 counts. The crowd, the noise, maybe not the amount of people that are in here, but the passion that they'll have to see their team. And I think both these managers tonight have got similar problems, because the bigger picture is the league. That's what is all important to both of them. But it's no good coming into this game and, as Neil said, getting beat 4 or 5 and then taking that defeat into your next game. And the same for Rob Edwards. He'll want a good performance tonight. He'll want to win, and he'll immediately focus on Friday. But he'll give the fans a little taste of maybe what's to come for them.
Now, we spoke in the first hour of the show, 6 till 7, if you didn't know, it's live on Talksport 2, and we build up towards the games. And we spoke about the atmosphere here. We spoke about how close the 2 dugouts are. Will Jurgen Klopp like that kind of thing when he comes here? Pep Guardiola, the same as well. Will that really affect players? Will it affect coaches? Will it affect staff? Will it affect players? How tight this is? It is a League 2 ground. There's no doubt about it. It's certainly not a Premier League ground. And at the same time I'm saying that, you've got to admire what Luton have done. But does it affect opponents coming here? Will they be shocked at what they see?
I think they'll be surprised. Some of the Manchester City players, Liverpool players, will be surprised by the level of passion that they're confronted with. The fact that, if they get a corner, it's going to be like them getting a penalty, and dealing with that and that excitement that is actually undoubtedly going to be riddling around this ground. It's going to be fabulous, and it can be a bit daunting. I think the important thing is for Rob Edwards and Luton is to get the balance right between passion and playing with your head. They're going to have to play very clever. They're going to have to get everything right in every game, and that means that you want to pose a threat going forward, because the crowd have got to feed off something. If they're getting beat the first 5 or 6 weeks, the first 5 or 6 home games, then undoubtedly that's going to harm their passion. That's going to dent what you're feeding on as a player. So it's a really fine line. Nobody can actually say, look, they've had a tough start to the Premier League, 2 defeats already, but we know that this home ground is where, if they are going to survive, it will happen for them. And tonight, like I say, will just be a little move in the right direction, a good win, play at a good tempo, make sure that you show this crowd that you're better than the opposition and you are a Premier League side.
Well, I was here for the last home game, which was the playoff semi-final, second leg against Sunderland. The crowd, they were like the 12th man. It was an astonishing atmosphere here. I did feel that injury hit. Sunderland were affected by the crowd. Certainly as soon as the first goal went in, it was a bit of a scramble at a set piece, and Tom Lockyer just poked it in, and that completely lifted the home crowd. And that could happen in any given Premier League game this season. But one thing is for certain, Alvin, surely. All right, they've been competitive. They've had a little bit of a go, Luton, in both away games so far. Down at Brighton where they lost 4-1, and at Chelsea where they lost 3-0. But they were very much second best in those games. If they are going to stay up, they're going to have to get a lot of points on this ground.
Absolutely, that's unquestionable. But look, I do feel that he did say it in both games. He can see little bits of improvement. The real secret for Rob and his coaching staff is that the improvement is going to have to be rapid. They're going to have to learn really quickly. You've got to get a month at most to figure things out, to understand how quick, how strong some of these players are. Because it's not just technically that they're going to be better than you. They're going to be stronger. They're going to be quicker, a lot of them, and it's dealing with that and not being daunted with it, but saying, you know what, as a team we can cope with it. As a collective we can cope with it. And I think you need that little bit of a star, a little bit of somebody who can turn a game, get the fans on the edge of the seat. So maybe that's what Barkley is going to bring. He might come on tonight. Hopefully we will see that. But every team needs a little bit of that. We've seen it in the past. An average team with 1 star in it can get the job done.
Just looking at their home record last season, Luton, and the 23 home league games, they won only 10 of them, drew 9, lost 4 for a team that finished 3rd. So, I don't know, maybe we're reading too much into this place being a fortress, because you can't describe that as a fortress for a side that finished in the top 6, really.
Yeah, but whenever I've seen them, they've surprised me with the organisation and the togetherness. You know, like I mentioned early on about, you know, the integrity of a dressing room and sacrificing yourself for each other. That's what this team is all about, Adrian. Whenever I've seen them, that's what it is, you know. And every facet of the game, he does not just concentrates on keeping it tight, which he is going to have to do, because I think the first goals in the Premier League are always important, especially for a team that's just come up, because, you know, you concede early in games, then it gives you a mountain to climb and you can panic. So I think, you know, obviously keeping it tight is important, but getting that balance right between also offering a threat going back the other way.
We've got a 7:30 kick-off. It's at the Swansea.com Stadium. Penalty there already, Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0. Matt Grimes firing the penalty into the top corner of the net. Radu, no chance with that. It was an absolute beauty of a penalty from Matt Grimes. All came from a handball from Nepp, and the ball was fired in after it was half cleared by the Bournemouth defence. Whacked him on the hand. No option for the referee but to point to the penalty spot. Matt Grimes did the rest. So the Swans off to a flyer. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0.
Well, that a 7:30 kick-off. We've got the goals as they go in on Talksport tonight. On Talksport 2, they're 5 minutes away from commentary of Fulham against Spurs. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free, and you can swipe between the two stations. Let's go to Prenton Park. Trevor Sinclair, the former England winger, is there for Tranmere against Leicester. Tranmere's league form has not been good so far this season. I think, Trevor, a number of Tranmere fans were thinking, all right, a couple of seasons out of league. They were relegated on points per game during the COVID hit season. Many of them felt it was very unfair the way they were relegated. But the way to deal with that is to hit back, and Tranmere certainly haven't done that and don't look like doing it this season either.
No, it's been a really difficult start. I look at the fixtures that they've had, and it seems like the teams that are more locally they struggle against. They got beat off Notts County, got beat off Salford, beat off Barrow. And they've got quite a few games coming up in the next month. Wrexham, Fleetwood, Accrington, where I wouldn't say it's a derby, but they're local kind of rivals, and they need to start getting themselves up for this. I'm not sure it's because they've got young players within the squad, but I know Ian Dawes, he was at Blackpool for a while with the youth team. He started his coaching career at Liverpool, so he's worked with young players a lot, but this is the first time he's in the hot seat, and he took the job on caretaker basis last season. This is him in his first full season after having a pre-season, and it's not started great, so the pressure's going to be on, and these are the kind of games where you're not expected to do anything against a majority Premier League side that got relegated, so there's still a lot of Premier League players within this side. You look at Jamie Vardy, a lot of household names within this Leicester side. No one expects Tranmere to win this game, and sometimes, and we've seen in their history, they've got just that little bit of a habit of stepping up and producing the goods. So let's hope that this is one of them nights and they make it really uncomfortable for Leicester City.
And Trevor, in terms of Leicester City, you mentioned some of the names playing there. In terms of Maresca, the new manager, what he does, we talked in the first hour of the show on Talksport 2 about how Leicester pass teams to death. It is pass. It's very much that Pep way. Maresca played under, or rather coached with Pep as assistant manager at City. No side has scored more than Leicester in the last 15 minutes of games in this season in the Championship. That's about fitness as well as passing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And listen, there's different kinds of fitness. There's, you've obviously got your physical fitness, but it's your mentality and your concentration and sticking to a game plan. How many times did we see? Listen, we see it a lot of times where Manchester City score in the opening 15-20 minutes of a game, or the dominant side score in the opening 15-20 minutes. But if it doesn't happen, that builds spirit in the team that's not in possession, and the longer it goes on, the more you've got to stick to them principles, because the more you do and play two-touch and work the opposition, the more leggy they get. And that doesn't surprise me. Enzo's sticking to his principles. Even if he's not getting the joy early doors, he'll stick to them principles. They'll keep passing the ball, they'll keep working tirelessly in possession, and eventually gaps will start to appear. And that's exactly what you're seeing with that start. They score late goals because the opposition, they're fed up of chasing shadows, and you do get more tired when you're working out of possession.
Well, I was there, Trevor, at the first round game at Burton, and that's exactly what Leicester did to Burton Albion that night. Hamza Chowdhury was key to that in the middle of the park. He was running the tempo of the game. Harry Winks was playing, and he was absolutely magnificent. He looked an England player, albeit against a struggling League One side. It's more of the same tonight, and they will exhaust Tranmere doing that.
Yeah, and I think, listen, when you talk about Harry Winks, I think he got lost a little bit at Spurs. There's big players there. You look at the stadium, you look at the expectancy at the football club, you look at the uncertainty with manager coming in and new managers coming in left, right and centre. I think here now, he's got the number 8 shirt, he's expected to be that main linchpin in the middle of the park, getting the ball, giving it nice and sharp, really good technically on the ball, and I think he's exactly what Leicester need. And from what I've read and the footage that I've seen, he's done exactly that. He's the link player, and he keeps things moving, and he's a perfect player for Enzo.
Rob Edwards just walking across the pitch. You have to go across the pitch from the tunnel to the dugouts to the technical area here at Kenilworth Road. That's always been the case as he walks across the pitch. He was actually walking behind 4 Gillingham substitutes, and there was a huge noise for Rob Edwards, and I think the subs thought it was for them until they looked around and realised it was Rob Edwards. As the teams come out here at Kenilworth Road, Luton in the orange with a white stripe to the left of the chest, and Gillingham in the blue shirts with a white top all the way across to the sleeve as well. I mean, I'm looking at this, Alvin Martin. Gillingham's record this year is nothing short of sensational. They were bottom of League 2, but since January and going out of the FA Cup to Leicester, they've won 17, drawn 5, lost 7. I mean, explain to me how hard it is to win that many games in League 2.
Oh, it's an incredible record, Adrian. I don't know where that Colchester performance came from. That happens every now and again. But one thing is for sure, Neil Harris will want to get that out of their system and push on again. He's been there for a while now, and I think you can see he's starting to really make a lot of progress. And this will be a tough game for Luton tonight. They've been waiting to get to this point at their own ground. They know how important this stadium is going to be, and certainly when you look at the reception that Rob Edwards got, you'd like to think at the end of the season when they play their last game, he gets a similar reception, because where he's taken this club is quite unbelievable.
It really is. I've got some breaking news. Mick Harford very much involved here at Luton, as you were talking about earlier, Alvin. He's actually at Fulham tonight, watching Fulham Spurs, because Luton have got Fulham in a couple of weeks. So nobody's having a big party because they've gone up. Nobody's in the lounges enjoying the food and the celebrations and the drinks. They're getting on with business tonight.
Adrian, to have this sort of success that Luton have had, you have to get everything right. Everything. And that's from the board of directors supporting the manager, getting the right manager in, him then getting the right coaching staff in, the right youth team set up, the community people getting their right. Yeah, there's so many aspects of a club that you've got to get right for them to get where they are today. And they have got a fantastic setup here. All the pressure is on them. It's a mountain they've got to climb, but they climbed one mountain last year. Why can't they do it again?
Yeah, climbing the mountain this year is simply staying in the Premier League. And just look around the ground and you realise, there's not a Premier League setup in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the facilities. And away to our left, a reminder in the corner of the stand, a big banner that's been there for some time now. Luton Town established 1885, and there's a little pop of the FA on that banner, betrayed by the FA. In 2008, when they were deducted 30 points, it meant they dropped out of the league altogether. That season, when they were relegated out of the league, they actually won the EFL trophy, and they weren't allowed to defend it the following season because they were a National League side. We're getting ready for kick-off here on Talksport. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Straightforward, straight talking, and straight to the point.
What a start!
Kick-off.
What a goal!
On Talksport.
And we're going to go here at Kenilworth Road. It has literally just crashed into the back of the net and the home side lead. Joe Shannon.
A minute and 40 seconds gone. Luton Town 1, Gillingham 0, and for the first time this season, lift off at Kenilworth Road. Luton have been at it since the very start. In the first minute, there was a great save from the Gillingham goalkeeper Glenn Morris to deny Alfie Doughty, but just a few seconds ago, Jacob Brown played clear inside the penalty area, and the recent signing from Stoke City struck it firm and true left-footed into the far corner beyond the goalkeeper. His first goal in a Luton Town shirt. Luton Town 1, Gillingham 0, and Luton Town's intent clear from the off. Alvin Martin.
Well, you said it. We said before the game he needs a quick start, needs to get the crowd on side. Well, that's exactly what Rob Edwards' side has done. They've pinned them back. The quality of crosses, the intensity with which they were hitting balls into the box and attacking it, getting around it, it really did unsettle Gillingham, and he never recovered. It's a great strike as well, by the way, with his left foot.
First goal for Luton Town, and Alvin, there may be a new stand on the far side, the new Bobbers stand, but these are the same intimate surroundings, full of character. The fans are right on top of the players. The noise was pretty deafening as the Luton players came out from the tunnel, which is in the corner to our left. We're seated in the main stand, just to the left of the halfway line, but you could already sense this year, Luton having had 2 games away in the Premier League, they're back at home, they're enjoying themselves, and this is where they may well be a threat to Premier League sides this season.
I think the intensity you can see is going to be a problem for any team. You know, if you can play with that and with the quality that they've showed early on as well, Joe. But look, I think, they are a Premier League side now, but they don't look like a side that says, now we're Premier League, we're going to change. They've still got that in-your-face attitude, which you need.
Perfect start for the top flight side. Luton, the League Cup winners in 1988, in front against Gillingham of League 2. Luton 1, Gillingham 0.
We've got another cup goal. It's at the racecourse ground. Dave Rowe.
Wrexham 0, Bradford 1. Bradford off to a flying with a penalty from Tyler Smith on 2.5 minutes. Patterson playing a ball into the penalty area for Jamie Walker. Somewhat clumsy challenge by Aaron Hayden. The referee took a bit of time to give the spot kick, but his penalty was given, and Smith, on loan from Hull City, stepped up right-footed and put the penalty beyond Mark Howard. Wrexham 0, Bradford 1.
And a goal in the cup at Home Park. John Roder.
Lift off at Home Park. Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0. Across from the right, headed back across the penalty area. Plymouth appealing for a handball against a Palace defender. It looked as though it had struck the arm, but there was Ben Waine, the New Zealand striker, to turn it in from close range. Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Well, the goals as they go in, that's not the only one in Devon already. Exeter City 1, Stevenage 0. It's an all League One second round cup tie. Alex Hartridge for the Grecians after just 5 minutes, and it's an all championship game. The Bet365 has Stoke lead Rotherham 1-0. Walter Berger, they only signed him last week, one of 14 signings in this summer window from Stoke City, and Alex Neil, he's got the goal after 2 minutes, his first start for the club. Stoke leading Rotherham by 1-0. The goals as they go in on Talksport. Let's take you to the Swansea.com stadium. What's happened since the goal? Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0, and what's happened since the goal is that Swansea have been the better side. They've been moving the ball nicely, they've been passing through midfield. Joe Allen is just such a class act. He's come into the team this evening. He's not been fit, he's missed most of pre-season, so they've been easing him in, but my goodness, he has looked head and shoulders above everybody else on the pitch this evening. Mac Ryan's penalty still the difference between the teams. 22 on the clock. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0.
And Swansea leading, Cardiff are leading as well. Young Ruben Colwell has scored the goal after 3 minutes at Birmingham. Have had a terrific start in the Championship, Birmingham City under John Eustace and the new owners, of course, but it's Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1 in the Carabao Cup second round. What's going on at Craven Cottage? Talksport's Ollie Klink.
6 minutes gone, Fulham 0, Tottenham 0. Oh my word, what a chance early on for Fulham, Adrian. Anthony Robinson nicked the ball and charged down the left. He then dinked the ball to the back post, and there was Rodrigo Muniz, but he managed to head it wide. Really big chance for the home side early on. Before that, Tottenham had the ball, but they weren't really doing too much with it. It's teeming down with rain here at the Cottage. That hasn't stopped the Tottenham fans, though. They're in numbers, they're in full voice. This one's live on Talksport 2, where it's Fulham 0, Tottenham 0.
So Cardiff are winning, Swansea are winning. What about Newport in South Wales at the Rodney Parade? Ian Danta.
7 minutes gone, Newport 0, Brentford 0. Lots of possession for the Premier League side, who, remember, made 9 changes from the weekend, but only one looping cross for Johnny Maxted to deal with in the Newport goal. At the other end, Omar Bogle dispossessed Ben Mee just inside the Brentford box, right hand corner, but just couldn't slip in Aaron Wildig, who was just ahead of him, and Brentford were able to clear. Newport 0, Brentford 0.
What's happening at Molineux on Talksport? Adam Bridge.
8 minutes played here. It's Wolves 0, Blackpool 0. Wolves seeing so much more of the ball, but it took them about 3.5 minutes to eventually go over the halfway line. Then when they did, it almost told. Fabio Silva away down the left hand side. His pullback was blocked. It fell to Kaladzic again. He was snuffed out, but Traore with a shot from the edge of the penalty area was comfortably saved by O'Donnell in the Blackpool goal. Up the other end, one decent cross so far from Dominic Thompson. All he could do from that left hand side for the Seasiders was pick out Dan Bentley in the Wolves goal. Wolves 0, Blackpool 0.
All right, Talksport taking you to Prenton Park on a big night of cup action with Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, 9 gone here, Adrian. Tranmere 0, Leicester 0, as you'd expect. Leicester dominating the early proceedings. They won an early corner that came to nothing. Then Kieran and Dewsbury Hall got in down the left. His pullback, though, was cleared away. Harry Winks lashed a shot just wide from 25 yards out. We've just seen Dewsbury Hall from the edge of the area, right-footed curling shot over the top. At the other end, not really seen too much yet from Tranmere. It's fair to say, Trevor, that their skills are being tested. Leicester are playing at some some pace.
Absolutely, yeah. And Harry Winks again. You know, we highlighted him before the game how sharp he's been, how professional. Because you can drop a league and feel a bit sorry for yourself or feel it's just going to happen, but you can see with his professionalism, great for his personality, just showcases who he is. He's done everything absolutely spot on, 100%, really sharp, and yeah, he's just looking for the ball all the time. That shot that he had, weren't sure whether it was going to nestle into that top corner just wide, but he's showing real intent at the start of this game.
Tranmere are trying to get it down, but as we mentioned, every time Leicester lose it, they're putting the press on, they're putting the squeeze on, and Tranmere have got to be perfect, haven't they?
Yeah, that counter press. I mean, there's been a couple of decent touches. Sam Taylor out on the right hand side, he's shown that he's got decent technique, and in tight areas he can handle the ball, but there's just too many numbers for him to deal with. And just seeing Harry Winks again, he's just playing in the future a little bit. He's just one step ahead.
He is at the moment. 10.5 gone here. It's Tranmere 0, Leicester 0.
Playing in the future, love that. Goal at Molineux. Let's go back there, Adam Bridge.
Yeah, Wolves 1, Blackpool 0. It's Sasa Kaladzic with his second in 2 games. Of course, the winner on Saturday against Everton. He struck here. It was great run by Sarabia down the right-hand side into the penalty area. His shot was blocked. The ricochet came out to Kaladzic from about 14 yards out, and he fired calmly into an empty net. 10 minutes gone. It's Wolves 1, Blackpool 0.
Let's head to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Latest there with Mickey Gray.
11 minutes gone. It's still Bolton 0, Middlesbrough 0. But I think Ian Evatt of the two managers will be the most happiest because they've settled into this game very well. And Dion Charles up front looks a real live wire. There was a half a shout of a penalty. He got himself into the 18-yard area, and Dale Fry made contact with him, but it wasn't enough to give a penalty. But Middlesbrough are starting to grow into the game now with Isaiah Jones. Great pace down the left-hand side, but still here. Bolton 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Yeah, Dion Charles has been brilliant for Bolton, no doubt about it. He's just signed a new contract at the club as well. Sure, Ian Evatt very, very pleased with that. Lively so far. Let's give you the goals that have gone in. Stoke leading Rotherham 1-0. Carabao Cup second round. Wolves 1, Blackpool 0, Wrexham 0. Bradford City 1 in the southern section. Swansea lead Bournemouth 1-0 in a 7:30 kickoff. Cardiff 1-0 up at Birmingham. Carling Grant cross tucked home by Ruben Colwell. Luton 1, Gillingham 0 here at Kenilworth Road. Jacob Brown early on for the Hatters with a fine finish. And Plymouth lead Crystal Palace 1-0. EFL trophy games tonight as well. MK Dons 1, Chelsea 1 was a 7 o'clock kickoff. That is half time. And a 7:30 kickoff at Blundell Park. Grimsby 0, Manchester City's under 21s 1. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Big night of Carabao Cup action on Talksport tonight, and tomorrow night we start again at 6 p.m. on Talksport 2. It'll be around the grounds on Talksport. Myself, Lucy Ward's with us as well, Dean Ashton as well. So that all gets underway at 6 p.m. and we've got commentary on Talksport 2 of Chelsea against Wimbledon. It's not on telly, that one. So Chelsea-Wimbledon is live on Talksport 2, around the grounds with all the goals on Talksport. It all gets underway, kick-off from 6 on Talksport 2. And then Friday, we're back here at Kenilworth Road for the first Premier League game this season at this venue. Luton taking on West Ham. Hugh Wozencroft will be your host. Nigel Adderley and Stuart Pearce, a former West Ham coach, on commentary duty for that one here at Kenilworth Road. Friday night, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. Let's go round the grounds in the Carabao Cup second round tonight to the 7:30 start at the Swansea.com Stadium. Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0. We're ticked over into half an hour here at the Swansea.com Stadium. And the Championship side, good value for that 9 minutes Matt Grimes penalty that they lead through. Bournemouth made 7 changes coming into this. They look a little bit edgy. A couple of the players who've not played much, like Chris Mepham, who gave the penalty away, has really looked off the pace. Goalkeeper Andre Radu is making his debut tonight for Bournemouth. He joined on loan from Inter Milan in July. He's looked really nervy with a couple of punches. Certainly not commanding his area, and already conceded a goal. Half an hour on the clock. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0.
Let's update you with events here at Kenilworth Road with Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
We've had 13.5 minutes. It's Luton Town 1, Gillingham 0. The Premier League side in front very early on, second minute in fact, courtesy of Jacob Brown's first goal for the club. He burst into the penalty area and left-footed from an angle, hit it across the goalkeeper and into the far corner in front of the Gillingham fans. Fine finish. Same old Luton really, despite the slight changes in surroundings. Of course, there's a new bobber stand on the far side of the field, but as Adrian said, we'll see an action for the first time in the Premier League at home to West Ham, live on Talksport on Friday night. But Luton have that familiar intensity and energy that served them so well in their promotion season in the Championship, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, and it seems to be even more evident when you're so close to the pitch as well, the pace of the game, and that aggression that they show. But I'll tell you what, they went down 1-0 very early in the game, Gillingham, but I think the reaction has been pretty good. I think he won't be pleased with conceding a goal, Neil Harris, but he'll be pleased with the way his team has reacted, because they haven't bottled it. They've sat back. They've started to soak up pressure. It's harder now for Luton to get the ball into areas that they want to be able to cross or have pops at goal. So it's a good reaction there. Certainly they've settled down.
The League Two side who knocked out Southampton of the Championship in round 1 of the Carabao Cup. Just on Jacob Brown in particular, Alvin Martin. Twice he's come off the bench in the Premier League so far this season. This is his first start in a Luton Town shirt. Is it the case for some of these Luton players tonight that they're pushing for a place in the team on Friday?
Well, they can only survive not just with the intensity of the crowd here, but also a squad. They're going to need people to come in, and certainly they're going to need at the sharp end people who can finish. And that certainly was a good finish.
Gillingham have got a throw on the far side, level with the edge of the Luton penalty area at the end away to our right. The Kenilworth Road end of the ground, headed away by Mads Anderson of Luton through a crowd, and Alfie Doughty will get it further clear. We've had 15.5 minutes live at Kenilworth Road. It's Luton Town 1, Gillingham 0.
So Talksport takes you to the SCL. This was an 8 o'clock kickoff. A goal already for Ian Abrahams.
90 seconds on the watch, and Reading have taken the lead. Reading 1, Ipswich 0. Really bizarre goal. Ball down the left-hand side, played inside, flicked on by Basil Tuma, and there running in was Clayton Vickers. He was had a defender, Ipswich defender alongside him, who seemed to push him, and it pushed him into the ball, and the ball then rebounded past the goalkeeper and into the net. Really bizarre goal. It's not one that he's going to put on his sort of videotape at the end of his career and say this is the brilliant goals I scored, but they're all important. And League One Reading lead against Championship high flyers Ipswich. It's Reading 1, Ipswich 0.
Goals as they go in. Carabao Cup second round on Talksport tonight. Let's go to Craven Cottage with Ollie Klink.
Fulham 0, Tottenham 0, 18 minutes gone. Fulham with the better start here, Adrian. Bobby Decordova-Reid had a shot in anger 10 minutes in that whizzed high and wide, but Adama Traore as well down that right-hand side has been electric so far. Harrison Reed managed to charge down a Fraser Forster goal kick as well. Just after that Decordova-Reid chance, it came to nothing, but it typified the start to this game that the home side have had, and Tottenham just haven't got going yet. This one's live over on Talksport 2. Fulham 0, Tottenham 0.
And to get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free. It won't take long. Easy to use. You can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. Let's go to Rodney Parades on Talksport. Ian Danter.
Newport County 0, Brentford 0, but Brentford have just come very close to opening the scoring. A header inside the box from Ben Mead, looping over Johnny Maxter, but cleared off the goal line by Harry Charsley, the Newport midfielder. They forced 4 corners in this opening quarter, Brentford, but that's the closest they've come, and that didn't come from a corner kick. Newport 0, Brentford 0.
Let's go to Home Park in the second round of the Carabao Cup on Talksport. John Roder.
Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0. We've played 19.5 minutes here, and it's been an excellent opening to this match. Plymouth in front after 6 minutes. Ben Waine turning it in from close range for his third goal in the EFL Cup this season. He scored both in the first round win here against Leyton Orient. Palace had the ball in the net. Jason Reksaki putting it in, but he was correctly ruled offside. Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Back to Fulham. There's been a goal there, Ollie Klink.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 0, 20 minutes gone. It looks like Bobby Decordova-Reid may have the final touch on this. Great work down the left by Tom Kearney, skipped past a couple of defenders, played it back across goal, and it's either come off Ivan Perisic or Bobby Decordova-Reid, and it's Van der Ven, it's come off, the new man for Tottenham, the centre-back, and it's gone into the back of the net, and Fulham take the lead here, deservedly so as well. 20 minutes gone, Fulham 1, Tottenham 0.
Goals as they go in, that's on Talksport 2 right now. Fulham leading Spurs by a goal to 0. Let's head to Molineux, latest there, Adam Bridge.
Remains Wolves 1, Blackpool 0, 20 minutes played here. Kalantic's goal after 10, separating the two sides. But it's Blackpool who've responded really well. Neil Critch's side playing some nice football, and actually Wolves are contributing to their own potential downfall here, trying to play out from the back against a high press. Totti and Bentley almost got caught, and then moments later there was another turnover, and it was Kenny Dougal who hit a shot from the edge of the penalty area that cannoned off the inside of Bentley's right-hand post, out across the goal and away and clear. Blackpool responding well, but they still trail. Wolves 1, Blackpool 0.
Let's take you to Prenton Park. Latest there with Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Still Tranmere 0, Leicester 0, 21 minutes on the clock here. Leicester just got a corner as you come to us. Another Mark Albrighton cross, this time deflected behind. Corner's going to be swung in towards the far post, and it's headed away from goal. It'll fall to Winks, who slices his volley. It's probably the first thing he's done wrong tonight, but it has been, as you'd expect, all Leicester. Mark Albright certainly down this right hand side. Trevor Sinclair's put in a couple of great balls, but credit Tranmere, they defended it well.
Yeah, especially Tom Davis and Jordan Turnbull in the heart of that Tranmere defence have been awesome. Everything that comes in, they're either first ball to it or second phase, they're getting the bodies in the way and just putting a little bit of doubt in this Leicester City side, but Leicester have been spot on with the play. Really good tempo, intensity, all the qualities there, and the manager won't be disappointed with this. Loads of possession of the ball and some great runs by Cassidy down this right hand side, breaking lines. He's a little bit different to the rest of the players because he is prepared to work off the ball and try and break lines, so be interesting to see how that develops this side.
Yeah, Tranmere getting pushed further and further back at the moment. What will the instructions be to them? Is it just simple keep your shape and hold your nerve?
Yeah, they're working at full tilt just to stop Leicester City scoring at the moment, so they've just got to stay in the game, and when they do get a bit of possession, just try and keep hold of it and settle the game down a little bit, and they've done that relatively well. But listen, you can see the difference in class, and you can't fault the way that Leicester are playing. Every player is playing 1 and 2 touch, and it's just impossible at the moment for the Tranmere players to get anywhere near the ball.
It is. Albrighton just attacking again down this right hand side, looking to get the cross in, and it's going to be denied initially. So halfway through the first half here, Adrian, and it is still Tranmere 0, Leicester 0.
We've got a goal though at Bolton. Mickey Gray.
23 minutes gone and it's Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 0. I mentioned before, Adrian, Dion Charles was in the right place at the right time. Middlesbrough look all over the place at the back. As Forrester works it really well down the right hand side, and the ball just comes into the box, and it's Glover just gets a hand on it in that Middlesbrough goal, but he just puts it into the path of Dion Charles with his left foot. Simple finish into the back of the net. Deserved to be in front. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Yeah, interesting. The Middlesbrough season so far has not gone to plan for a team that made the playoffs, but what they're hanging on to is the fact that they had a terrible start last season, then made their way into the playoffs. Could have even nicked automatic, but set for the playoffs, went out in the semi-finals. 4 league games without a win. Third bottom in the table, but Michael Carrick saying after Saturday's 4-2 defeat at West Brom, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. If they keep doing what they're doing, they'll get rewards for it. Well, what they've been doing is defending badly. Same again tonight, and they're a goal down at Bolton. Let's head to the racecourse ground. Latest there, Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Wrexham 0, Bradford 1. That was an early penalty by Tiger Smith, putting the Bantams in front, and it could have been 2-0, probably should have been 2-0 before Wrexham even got going. Smith again breaking free down the right hand side from a long ball sent forward. He got the better of Tozer. Big save by Mark Howard with his legs to keep the score at 1-0. Since then, Wrexham have been largely on top. Callan has fired way over the crossbar. The best chance came after a mistake by Right Howell at the back, about 25 yards out for Bradford. Pounced on by Bickerstaff, who advanced towards the edge of the area. His shot just went wide of the right hand post. Wrexham 0, Bradford 1.
Another goal for Stoke, who lead Rotherham 2-0. Day 1 of the season, Stoke thrashed Rotherham 4-1. Heading the same way tonight. Ryan Mai, a multi-million-pound signing in the summer, another one of the 14 that came in at Stoke City, has scored. Stoke 2, Rotherham 0. And Wycombe Wanderers 0, Sutton United 1. Wycombe of League 1 trailing at home to League 2. Sutton, and not just in League 2, they're second bottom in League 2. Matt Gray, the Sutton manager, said that tonight's game very important because they've got to get back to winning ways as soon as possible after 4 straight defeats. Well, Aidan O'Brien, the former Millwall man, has put them in front. Wycombe 0, Sutton 1. We've got a goal. Molineux in the cup. Adam Bridge.
Wolves 2, Blackpool 0. It's Fabio Silva who's on target now for the home side. Sarabia with the good work, but it was a poor pass, but it ricocheted back to him as he slid the ball through to Silva, left edge of the penalty area, and he drilled it into the bottom corner on the inside post of Richard O'Donnell. Wolves good in possession, look shaky at the back, and somehow they're 2 up here. Wolves 2, Blackpool 0.
Yeah, Blackpool haven't scored in 4 games. Neil Critchley in charge, and he described Saturday's 3-0 loss at Lincoln as, quote, horrible. Well, they're 2-0 down already tonight. Let's go to an 8 o'clock kickoff at the Peninsula. What's happening there? Jim Proudfoot.
11 gone, Salford 0, Leeds 0. Sharpness about Leeds when they come forward, with Willie Gnonto's directness causing a couple of early problems, and he's just had a shot deflected wide after an excellent run, but Salford dealt with the corner. He also set up Jorginho Ruta, who fired over on the turn. A Somerville free kick was easily saved. There's been one half chance for Salford, created by Luke Bolton on the right, but his cross just evaded Matt Smith. Salford 0, Leeds 0.
Let's give the latest scores up and down the country. Carabao Cup, second round in the northern section. Bolton lead by a goal to 0 against Middlesbrough. Port Vale Crewe, just 13 miles between them, but not considered a big derby. That's goalless at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday Mansfield Championship against League 2 is also goalless. Stoke 2, Rotherham 1. Sean Morrison's just pulled one back for Rotherham, halving the deficit. Tranmere 0, Leicester 0. Wolves 2, Blackpool 0. Wrexham 0, Bradford 1. And Salford 0, Leeds 0, you just heard. In the southern section, Swansea lead Bournemouth 1-0 in a game that's heading up towards half-time. A 7:30 kick-off, that one. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1. Bristol City and Norwich goalless. The All League 1 affair between Exeter and Stevenage is 1-0 to Exeter. Alex Hartridge with the only goal so far. Fulham 1, Spurs 0, live on Talksport 2. Luton 1, Gillingham 0. Jacob Brown with a goal here at Kenilworth Road. Newport 0, Brentford 0. Plymouth 1, Crystal Palace 0. Pompey 0, Posh 0. Wickham 0, Sutton 1. Reading 1, Ipswich 0, and 8 o'clock kick-off. And in the EFL Trophy, MK Dons 1, Chelsea's under-21s 1. Grimsby 0, Manchester City under-21s 2, but City have had one of their youngsters sent off. You're listening to TalkSports. You know what, I love Carabao Cup nights under the lights because something special always happens, and something very special has just happened here at Kenilworth Road. Telling us about it, Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
Oohs and ahs, we've just seen a sensational goal at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town 2, Gillingham 0, and from Alfie Doughty, Premier League quality, Premier League class. He was 30 yards out with a free kick, slightly left of centre, tapped it to Luke Berry, he stopped the ball, and then Doughty curled it left-footed into the top corner, right into the postage stamp, away from the grasp of the goalkeeper, beneath the driving rain here. It's a stunning second for the home team. Luton Town 0, Gillingham and Luton Town 2, Gillingham 0, and Alvin Martin alongside me. Nobody in Kenilworth Road could quite believe the quality of that free kick.
Well, when it comes to free kicks, I don't think you're going to see better this season. That's how good that was. It just doesn't get any better. And it came at a time when they were struggling to really make any impact. They'd got the first goal. Wasn't any sign of the second goal coming, but as soon as Doughty tapped this to Berry stops it, he bends it with his left foot. He's playing on the right hand side as a right-sided wing back, but he's all left foot, and he curled it, as you said, into the top corner. It's quality of the highest order.
Well, Alfie Doughty is a man who hasn't played much in the first 2 Premier League games of the campaign, a regular for Luton at right wing back in the Championship. Last season, this season his place has been taken up by the Manchester City loanee Issa Kabore, but Alfie Doughty was denied by Glenn Morris inside the first minute before Luton got the opening goal through Jacob Brown, making no mistake from 30 yards out. As Alvin said, you will not see a better free kick up and down the land in any division this season, and it's the Premier League side who've doubled their advantage at Kenilworth Road. Luton just love it at Kenilworth Road under the lights. They lead Gillingham by 2-0.
Well, get the toolkit out, hang it in the Luton Louvre. That was truly stunning, beautiful artwork from Alfie Doughty, the youngster from, well, he was a youngster at Charlton. They got there at the age of 8, made his way to Stoke City, didn't work for him there. Luton took him last season, and he's just done something very special in the rain here at Kenilworth Road. And one thing I love about it, Alvin, I love the banter between fans. What I love is the Gillingham fans came in here, took one look at the stadium and said, Premier League, you're having a laugh. The Luton fans, after that special goal went in, sang back to them, Premier League, we're having a laugh.
But no, it's look, I think moments like that are going to be important for them, because if you've got that in your arsenal in terms of quality, you're not going to score perfect goals in the Premier League, but you've got to be able to mix it up. You've got to be able to score from headers. You've got to score scruffy goals. You've got to score clinical goals, and that's a massive step in the right direction, because we're just starting to struggle a little bit there, Age. Gillingham is starting to look stronger and stronger, and approaching half an hour, you think, they're going to be a tough nut to crack. But that moment of class from Doughty has just turned the game, and Rob Edwards, he should get some credit for it as well, because when we talk about coaching, he'll know how important set pieces are going to be to him as well.
Yeah, they'll have been working on that. How important, technically speaking, what was the importance of the touch from Luke Berry there?
Well, it's not really important. I could have done that.
But in terms of the angle,
yeah, changed the angle definitely, and but you measured it up. It was precision, wasn't it?
I'm not sure you could have done it, mate, to be honest. Not in this rain, anyway. Goal at Bolton, Mickey Gray.
Yes, it's the equaliser, Adrian. It's an absolutely outstanding goal from Matty Crooks. They win the ball back in midfield. They've been really poor in his first half. This is their first chance on the Bolton goal. And Matty Crooks just runs in behind. The ball gets played in behind the back line of Bolton. And you can see Coleman coming off his line. He just has a quick little look up and he chips the ball over the top of his head and it lands into the back of the net for the equalising goal. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1.
More goals elsewhere. Sheffield Wednesday lead Mansfield 1-0. Anthony Masaba with that goal. Stoke have got a third against Rotherham. They lead 3-1. Josh Laurent, one of their brilliant players, scored just before the half-hour mark. 4 goals in the first half an hour of that game. And the Posh lead at Portsmouth 1-0. Much weakened side for Peterborough tonight after 2 defeats in a row in the league. And David Adjaboy has come in, the former Sutton man, and he's got a goal, beating Ryan Schofield in the Portsmouth goal. It's half-time in the 7:30 kick-off at Swansea. Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, at half-time it's Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0. Quite frankly, a deserved lead too. Matt Grimes getting the goal from the penalty spot, driving the ball into the top corner after Chris Mepham had blocked a shot from the edge of the area with his hand. The Premier League side made 7 changes, the home team made 5, but it's definitely the Championship side that looks more cohesive. Veteran Joe Allen pulling the strings in an energetic performance in the middle of the park. On his debut, Andre Radu in the Cherries goals looked really nervous and unsure, and in the last seconds of the half, Bournemouth finally with a chance. Traore hitting the post with a sharp shot on a turn. Swans might not have won a Championship game in 4, but they're on course for a second League Cup win. At the break, Swansea 1, Bournemouth 0.
So that's the score at half-time there. 7:45 kickoffs are still in the first half, just over half an hour gone in those. So let's head to one of them. Ollie Klink is at Craven Cottage. Ollie.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 0, half an hour gone here. It should be 2-0 really, Adrian. Mickey van der Ven misread a through ball from Adama Traore, and Rodrigo Muniz was played through for Fulham. The striker stumbled his way past van der Ven into the box, but he fired his shot straight at Fraser Forster. Fulham, though, have been far the better team here. About 5 minutes ago, Harrison Reed planted a header over the bar from Robinson's cross as well, and Tottenham just haven't had a sniff at all. Ange is getting pretty agitated on the touchline. This one's live over on Talksport 2. It's Fulham 1, Tottenham 0.
And getting agitated, I don't think that works. Bukayo Saka has just been named the PFA Young Player of the Year. No real surprises with that. He's been brilliant for so long for Arsenal and in so many games as well. 83 straight games. 84 is it now for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka named the PFA Young Player of the Year just a few moments ago. Let's go to Rodney Parade. Latest there, Ian Danter.
Newport 0, Brentford 0, 10 to the break. Newport starting to believe in themselves in the past few minutes. Brentford having dominated possession. They've just had a massive chance, Newport. Omar Bogle getting to the byline left-hand side, pulled the ball back. Harry Charsley planted his header wide. They're just sending a free kicking that Errol Balcom on his Brentford debuts just punched clear. They're just starting to get a foothold in this game, the home side, but it remains Newport County 0, Brentford 0.
Let's head to Home Park. Latest there with Talksport's John Roder.
Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0. Ben Waine with the early goal for the Championship side, who are playing superbly despite making 9 changes from the weekend. Crystal Palace could have equalised and maybe should have done just a few moments ago. Raksaki's low ball across goal, but Jean-Philippe Mateta couldn't make the telling connection at the near post. It's an excellent first half so far, and it's going very well indeed for Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Jez Raksaki has got a big future in the game and a terrific loan spell at Charlton last season. Now doing his stuff hopefully in the Palace first team this season in the Premier League and in the cup competitions as well. He'll be hoping for big opportunities. Let's go to Molineux, where Wolves are in charge. Adam Bridge.
They are Wolves 2, Blackpool 0. 9 minutes to go to the break. Could have been 3 a moment ago. Johnny with a shot from the edge of the penalty area after a good set up by Fabio Silva, who was the scorer of the second goal for Wolves, his first in a Wolves shirt since May 2021. That came against West Bromwich Albion. He doubled the lead, provided to Kaladzic after 10 minutes. Blackpool not shown much since that second goal went in. They've got a dangerous free kick now down the right hand side, but Wolves have settled down and they're trying to bring out the champagne football as things stand. They lead here by 2-0.
This is the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup in the EFL Trophy tonight. Half-time, Grimsby 0, Manchester City 2. City down to 10 men though, and MK Dons lead Chelsea's under-21s 2-1. Jonathan Lecco, the former West Brom trainee, has put the Dons in front at Stadium MK. Let's go to Prenton Park in the Carabao Cup with Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, 38 minutes gone here, Adrian. It's Tranmere 0, Leicester 0. But fair to say, Tranmere have had the better of it since you were last with us. They almost got him down the right-hand side. Jennings linked up with Taylor, but the final pass went astray. Then Dan Pike on his debut. He lashed a shot from 25 yards towards goal. Stolarczyk in the end did well to beat it away with his fist. And then Stolarczyk was caught off his line by Josh Hawkes, about 35 yards out. Hawkes went for the curling shot over the keeper, but the keeper got back just in time. At the other end, we've finally seen somebody get on the end of an Albrighton delivery. It was a corner kick, but it was headed over by Cassidy. It's still 0-0 here as the ball whipped in towards the far post. Albrighton keeps it in, but straight to the keeper. Trevor Sinclair. Finally, Tranmere have had a chance at the other end, and probably the best two efforts on goal so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. I think it comes from the two central defenders and the players in front of them working their socks off to keep that clean sheet in the opening 20 minutes when they're under so much pressure. As the game's gone on now, you can just sense a little bit of impatience from the Leicester players, trying to force things a little bit, which I'm sure Enzo's not going to be happy with. He wants them to stick to that principle, and because of that, they've got less control. And like you said, a couple of breakaways. The first one by Pike, absolutely screaming effort with his right foot, so maybe he's a right-footed player playing left back, but it was a good save. He could only palm it away, Stolarczyk, and then the next one, which you called as well, really good vision, seeing the goalkeeper off his line by Josh Hawkes, just didn't get enough purchase on the ball. Keeper got back and made the save, but I think there's much more jeopardy in this game in the last 10-15 minutes, so well done to Tranmere.
Yeah, frustration's growing, packed away and away to our left, not quite going all their own way. 5 to go to the break. Tranmere 0, Leicester 0.
Talksport takes you to the racecourse ground. Dave Rowe.
Much on top as you join me, and they go close just as you come to me with Sam Dalby's header pinging back out to him, and then he flies over the crossbar. Really 3 chances in quick succession. Ryan Barnett free down the right hand side, good crossing. Keeper Harry Lewis made a real mess of it, and Mendy couldn't quite turn in the rebound. It went out for a corner. The first corner attacked by Tozer at the far post, deflection just over the crossbar, and that second corner came in, fell to Dalby, couldn't quite convert. Prior to that, Wrexham have been really frustrated by Bradford trying to take time out of the game, slow things down whenever they've got the ball, or restarts or set pieces. Bradford trying to slow things down with that early lead given to them by the penalty by Tyree Smith, but Wrexham now finishing the first half strongly. Wrexham 0, Bradford 1.
And an 8 o'clock kick-off of the Peninsula. What's been happening there? Talksport's Jim Proudfoot.
25 gone is Salford 0, Leeds 0. Plenty of Leeds possession and increasingly a threat of a cutting edge to accompany it. They came within inches of taking the lead when Somerville's curling effort hit the right-hand post, and then moments later the danger man William Gnonto fired over from 15 yards as the Championship side begin to exert a level of control. Gnonto's been at the heart of the attacking play, dancing down the left-hand side, creating a really good chance as well for Joe Gelhardt, who dragged his shot wide. Leeds well on top now, but no breakthrough as yet. It's still Salford 0, Leeds 0.
Let's head to the SCL. What's happened since the goal there? Ian Abrahams.
It's still Reading 1, Ipswich 0. 25 on the clock. We've just seen a really bad injury, or really long stoppage for what looked like a bad injury to Mbenge of Reading. And he seemed like got kicked in the head inside the penalty and trying to clear the ball, but he has come back on. He's now wearing a shirt without a number on the back as he had to change it. Ipswich have had chances. Lee Evans with a shot just wide. Ladapo should have done better as well from inside the penalty area, but they haven't really threatened Kieran McKenna's side. He'll be disappointed by what he's seen so far. So League 1, Reading 1, Ipswich 0. By the way, the goal's now gone down as a Brandon Williams own goal, Adrian.
Brandon Williams on loan at Ipswich from Manchester United. Didn't have the greatest start of the weekend and has conceded an own goal tonight as well. Let's give you the latest scores. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1 in the Carabao Cup second round. Port Vale 0, Crewe 0. Sheffield Wednesday lead Mansfield 1-0. Stoke 3, Rotherham 1, Tranmere 0, Leicester 0, Wolves 2, Blackpool 0, Wrexham 0, Bradford 1, Salford 0, Leeds 0. Southern section, Swansea 1 up against Bournemouth at half-time, Birmingham 0, Cardiff City 1, Bristol City 0, Norwich 0, Exeter 1, Stevenage 0, Fulham 1, Spurs 0. That's live on Talksport 2. Luton 2, Gillingham 0 here at Kenilworth Road. Newport 0, Brentford 0, Plymouth 1, Crystal Palace 0, Portsmouth 0, Peterborough 1, Wickham 0, Sutton United 1 and Reading 1. Ipswich Town 0. You're listening to Kick-Off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org. Tomorrow night we've got Champions League action. Rangers, PSV, and in Eindhoven, Rangers will need something. 2-2 from the first leg, exactly as it was last season actually, when Rangers went there and won 1-0, but a tough ask for them tomorrow night. We'll keep you updated with that on Talksport as we take you around the grounds. Tonight there's Champions League playoff qualifying action as well. Young Boys 2-0 up on Maccabi Haifa. That's 2-0 on aggregate. Win these and you get into the group stage. So Young Boys of Switzerland looking good as things stand at the moment, but still in the first half, of course, of these games. First half in the Carabao Cup as well. Let's go round the grounds just before half-time. Here at Kenilworth Road, Luton in charge. Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
We're in the 44th minute. Luton Town 2, Gillingham 0. It remains. Luton who got off to a very fast start inside 2 minutes when Jacob Brown fired them in front from just inside the penalty area. The second goal to double their lead was quite sensational. Alfie Doughty with a 30-yard free kick into the top corner. The League 2 side there, Gillingham, who knocked out Southampton in round 1 of the Carabao Cup, have competed relatively well in between the 2 goals, Alvin Martin, but Luton, you feel, with that 2-goal advantage, very much in charge.
Yeah, the second goal knocked the stuffing out of Gillingham, didn't it? Just as they were getting a foothold in the game, but I think this is an opportunity now for Rob Edwards to look at his side. I think if you're looking at improving this performance, it's been aggressive, high intensity. Just got to take a little bit more care. Woodrow's playing up front as a number 10 for them, and the balls that they're getting into him, it's a wet surface, they're banging him into him too hard. You've just got to get him in with a little bit more delicacy, you know, so that he's got a chance of actually letting it run, or he can have his touch a lot easier. So they're very demanding of the front play there. If there's an improvement, certainly it's in that build-up play, having a little bit more delicacy.
Luton have their new Bobbers stand open tonight. It's about 75% full, the stand on the far side of the field, which is where the dugouts are. A test event tonight, so really this game is the dress rehearsal for the main event, the first Premier League game for Luton at Kenilworth Road against West Ham on Friday. It will be live on Talksport. Here in the second round of the Carabao Cup, just coming towards the end of first half stoppage time, first half normal time, Luton Town 2, Gillingham 0.
Another goal in the EFL Trophy. MK Dons 3, Chelsea's under-21s 1. Max Dean on 70 in that one. In the Carabao Cup, I told you on day 1 of the Championship season it finished Stoke City 4, Rotherham United 1. Well, that's the score as we head up to half-time. Tyrese Campbell has made it Stoke 4, Rotherham United 1. Half-time whistles are blowing at Vale Park. It's half-time, Port Vale 0, Crewe 0, and it's half-time at Prenton Park as well. For Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yes, Tranmere 0, Leicester 0. Leicester have dominated much of the opening half, but yet to have a shot on target. The closest they came was from an Albrighton corner. Cassaday's header just inches over the crossbar. Murphy, the veteran, without a shot to save in that first 45 minutes, despite plenty of good play from Leicester, much of it coming down the right-hand side from Mark Albrighton. They just cannot get on the end of those balls in the box. At the other end, probably the best 2 chances of the game. Dan Pike's 25-yard pile driver was well saved by Stolarczyk, and then Josh Hawke's effort from 30 yards out to lob the goalkeeper. Well, the keeper got back just in the nick of time. Leicester started really well, Trevor Sinclair, but fair to say Tranmere have grown into it and well worthy being level at the break.
100% Mark, and you know, first 20-25 minutes you would say from a Leicester perspective didn't put a foot wrong, kept the ball, looked sharp, really good patterns of play, creating little opportunities, which you have to say Tranmere stuck in there and defended really well. But after that I thought they lost a little bit of discipline, started forcing it a little bit, tried to go a little bit too route one, and Vardy's been a shadow of himself, I've got to say, in that number 9 spot. So maybe there's going to be a change from Enzo in that number 9. You've got an Iniacho on the bench, so that could be something that Leicester might try and change things just to have a bit more of a focal point in that central forward area. But second part of that first half, I thought Tranmere were excellent, looked really dangerous on the counter attack, grew in confidence. You could tell the atmosphere at Prenton Park changed. The home fans started getting a bit of belief. The players on the pitch started getting the ball down and playing their nice little bits. I've been impressed with Sam Taylor on that right hand side. He's looked really tidy. Connor Jennings as centre forward, but the 2 central defenders, Turnbull and Davis, have been outstanding. So yeah, this could go either way, but that latter part of that first half, I'm sure that's what Ian Dawes will be telling these players. Build off that, stay humble, out of possession, keep working your socks off and defending well as a team, and then when you get them chances, keep on growing in confidence and believe that you can get something out of this game.
Well, Leicester have made a good habit of winning games late on so far this season. They might need to do it again here at the break at Prenton Park. Tranmere 0, Leicester 0.
Half-time whistle's just gone here at Luton, who lead 2-0 against League 2 Gillingham, but there's a goal in an 8 o'clock kick-off at the Peninsula. Jim Proudfoot.
So much against the run of play, but a brilliant header from Matt Smith, the former Leeds striker. and Salford lead Leeds United by a goal to nil. Prior to that, it had been 9 shots to 1 in Leeds' favour. All the possession they wanted. They'd hit the post, spurned a couple of great opportunities, but a perceptive cross inside the penalty area, headed in by Smith, who makes it 6 goals in 8 career round 2 ties in this competition. He loved it against his former club, and Salford lead Leeds 1-0.
That's a League Two leading championship in the Carabao Cup second round. It always throws up some shocks here, there and everywhere. Matt Smith scoring for Salford against his old side Leeds. As the players come off the field here at Kenilworth Road, it's been an entertaining, albeit slightly one-sided first half here at the Kenny. Here's Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
Luton Town 2, Gillingham 0. 2 fine goals to give the Premier League side the advantage. The perfect tonic for Luton back at Kenilworth Road after consecutive away defeats to start their first Premier League campaign. 1 minute and 40 seconds all it took for them to take the lead, and a first Luton goal for former Stoke man Jacob Brown, firing into the far corner from just inside the penalty area. But if that was a finish of conviction, the second goal was a thing of pure beauty. Alfie Doughty stood 30 yards out when he tapped a free kick square to Luke Berry. Berry then stopped the ball dead, and Doughty curled it effortlessly into the top corner. That goal left Gillingham somewhat shell-shocked, the League Two team having competed well in spells, but they haven't forced a save out of the new Luton goalkeeper Tim Krul. And Alvin Martin, former League Cup runner-up alongside me. Luton showing just how at home they are here at Kenilworth Road.
Well, certainly anyone watching the game tonight will understand, and certainly Premier League teams who watch videos of this will say, okay, well, we go there, we're going to have to face a team that work tremendously hard. Joe, I mean, all over the pitch. They're aggressive. They want to win the ball back as far up the pitch as they can. They play a back 5 tonight with 2 in midfield and 3 up front. I'm not so sure they'll do that in the Premier League, but they have passed the ball around really well. Like I said, just a few minutes before half time, just need to be a little bit more fluent and unpredictable around the edge of the box. Take a few more chances, because they have dominated the possession, but really that second goal was majestic, and it really has finished the game off. I mean, they need to start the second half like they started the first half, but it's a well-drilled team, this.
We just saw Rob Edwards with his arm around Alfie Doughty as they left the field. A couple of words of encouragement, maybe words of advice in the ear of his player. If Luton are thinking about changes from the last Premier League game that they played away at Chelsea for the game against West Ham here on Friday, live on Talksport, do you look at Doughty and Brown, the 2 goal scorers, as being maybe up there in Rob Edwards' thinking?
Well, certainly it's an opportunity for them to really take centre stage, isn't it? I've been impressed with a lot of the Luton players. I really like Bell here. He's playing as a left side centre half, and he's great on the ball. He switches the ball brilliantly with his left foot. He's really strong one-on-one, so he's really caught the eye. But got Lockyer, who's a good leader at the back as well. Got done on the outside once with a bit of pace, and that's something he's going to have to get used to, because obviously in the Premier League you've got quicker players up front as well. But look, they're a team that you know are all playing for each other, and certainly playing for the manager.
Big crowd at Kenilworth Road, set out away to our left as well, but Gillingham have a mountain to climb here in the second round of the Carabao Cup. It's Luton in charge, Luton 2, Gillingham 0.
And those Gillingham fans away to our left not only saw the goals going in right in front of them for Luton Town, they also got rained on through the hole in the roof above the away end here at Kenilworth Road. Let's go for half-time at Craven Cottage, Ollie Klink.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 0 at the break, and the home side deservedly in front. An own goal from Mickey van der Ven on 19 minutes separates these two. He deflected Tom Kearney's cross over his own keeper and into the back of the net. And Fulham have had chances to further advantage too. Rodrigo Muniz came oh so close right at the end of the half with a header at goal, but it was well saved by Fraser Forster. As for Spurs, well, they've been so sloppy, Adrian. Misplaced passes, poor movement up front, shaky passing at the back. They're looking like the Tottenham of last season at the moment. They have got the big guns to bring off the bench though. I'll be amazed if we don't see the likes of Madison and Kulusevski in the second half. So far though, Tottenham are 45 minutes away from an early cup exit. The second half will be live on Talksport 2. Half-time at the Cottage. It's Fulham 1, Tottenham 0.
And it's half-time at Rodney Parade as well. Talksport Ian Danta.
Newport County 0, Brentford 0. The Bees with 76% possession and 7 corners, but they rarely tested Johnny Maxted in the Newport goal, although debutant Michael Olakigbe has been lively on the Brentford left, one of 9 changes from Saturday. And when Keane Lewis Potter's looping header on 19 minutes did beat the Newport keeper, Harry Charsley was there to head the ball off the line. And then Charsley had a massive chance to score at the other end 10 minutes from half-time on a rare Newport foray forward. He planted a header inexplicably wide from a really neat pullback from the byline by Omar Bogle. At the break, Newport County 0, Brentford 0.
Lauren James has joined Bukayo Saka, winning Young Player of the Year, PFA Young Player of the Year, after her brilliant season and title win with Chelsea. Let's go to Home Park, half-time, Talksport, John Roder.
Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0. At the break, standing ovation from the Argyle fans after an excellent first-half performance from the Championship team, who took the lead after just 6 minutes. A cross from the right was headed back across goal by Callum Wright, and it was turned in by Ben Waine for his third EFL Cup goal of the season, having scored both in the first-round win over Leyton Orient. Crystal Palace, who made 7 changes from the weekend, almost equalised when Raksaki's low ball across goal couldn't quite be turned in by Jean-Philippe Mateta. It may well be that Roy Hodgson is going to make changes. Eza and Ayew are both on the bench, both available, and both are needed. At the break, Plymouth Argyle 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Let's round up the first half at Molineux. Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Yeah, Wolves 2, Blackpool 0. Scoreline looks fairly comfortable. Goals from Sasa Kaladzic, his second in 2 games, of course, coming back from that cruciate ligament injury. And Fabio Silva 15 minutes later, only his 5th goal in a Wolves shirt in 66 appearances. They paid 35 million for him, so just 7 million a goal so far is what he's managed. They're playing with a back 3 tonight, our Wolves, and they've looked shaky at times. Doherty playing on the right of the 3. They've insisted on playing the ball out. It's been fairly cumbersome at times, and they've provided Blackpool with their best opportunities. Kenny Dougal managed to hit the post on the 16-minute mark. It cannoned off the inside of Bentley's post. He was well beaten and went across the face of goal, and then we had a header from Pennington that just went wide later on in the second half. But plenty to do for Blackpool if they're going to find a way back into this game and cause a shock. Half time, it's Wolves 2, Blackpool 0.
In the EFL Trophy tonight, MK Dons get a 4th against Chelsea's under-21s. Max Dean again, his 2nd of the night, 4-1. Let's get half time in the Carabao Cup at Bolton. Mickey Gray.
1, Middlesbrough 1. You'd be hard pushed to know who the Championship side were in the first 30 minutes of this game, and it was the League One side Bolton that deservedly took the lead on 23 minutes with a simple finish from the lively Dion Charles from close range after good play from Josh Sheehan down the right hand side. Middlesbrough did react in the second goal, and then they got themselves back on level terms on 33 minutes through Matty Crooks with a lovely lob over Joel Coleman in the Bolton goal after Paddy McNair played him through on goal. Borough did finish the half stronger, but still work to be done in the second half. Tied at the break, Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1.
To the racecourse ground with Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Wrexham 0, Bradford 1. Bradford don't score many goals, but what they have here, they're holding on to a penalty awarded inside 2 minutes for a clumsy challenge by Aaron Hayden on Jamie Walker. The spot kick was dispatched by Tyler Smith, and he should have made it 2 shortly after, this time denied by the legs of Mark Howard as he broke free from the right hand channel. After that, Wrexham had plenty of spells of possession, but only really worked the keeper once. That was a close range save by Lewis from Sam Delby. Bickerstaff had a couple of efforts go just wide on the counter late in the half for Bradford. Smith went close for a second once again, and once more Howard with the big save. At the break, Wrexham 0, Bradford 1.
And the 7:30 kick-off at Swansea. Second half is underway there, and there's been a goal in the second half. Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 1, Bournemouth 1. The equaliser coming from David Brooks, Bournemouth's captain this evening, and it's a bit of a collector's item as well. He collected it on the far right hand side of the penalty area. Great control with his right foot, and a finish with his right foot as well, past Rushworth into the far corner of the net. Rob Page, if you're watching, he's looked very good tonight. 55 on the clock, Swansea 1, Bournemouth 1.
So the Cherry skipper with the equaliser tonight on Welsh soil. Let's give you the latest scores there. And that's in the second half, 7:30 kick-off that one. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 1. Elsewhere, Carabao Cup second round, half-time, Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1. Port Vale 0, Crewe 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Mansfield 0. Stoke 4, Rotherham 1. Tranmere 0, Leicester 0. Wolves 2, Blackpool 0. Wrexham 0, Bradford 1. And still in the first half, Salford 1, Leeds 0. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1, Bristol City 0, Norwich 0, Exeter 1, Stevenage 0, Fulham 1, Spurs 0. It's live on Talksport 2. Here at Kenilworth Road, it's Luton 2, Gillingham 0, Newport 0, Brentford 0, Plymouth 1, Crystal Palace 0, Portsmouth 0, Posh 1, Wickham 0, Sutton 1, and still playing in the first half, Reading 1, Ipswich 0. EFL Trophy, these are in the second half now. MK Dons 4, Chelsea 1, that's about to finish. Grimsby 0, 10-man Man City 2. That was a 7:30 kick-off. Half-time in the Cymru Premier, Barrytown United 2, Haverfordwest County 0, both looking for their first win of the season. Carnarvon Town 0, Ballatown 0, Colwyn Bay 0, the New Saints 0, Connaskey Nomads 1, Newtown 1, Penabont 0, Cardiff Met 0, Aberystwyth against Pontypridd United still in the first half of that one, both looking for their first win as well. Irish Premiership, it's 1-1 between Glentoran and Crusaders, and in the Champions League playoffs tonight, it's 0-0 Panathinaikos Braga leading 2-1 on aggregate. Galatasaray 1, Molde 0, the Turks 4-2 up on aggregate, and Young Boys 2, Maccabi Haifa 0. That's 2-0 to Young Boys on aggregate. Remember, win these tonight. These are the second legs, and you make it into the group stage of the Champions League. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org. Listening to Kickoff on Talksport. We're around the grounds in the Carabao Cup second round tonight. Live commentary about to start in the second half over on Talksport 2 of Fulham 1, Tottenham 0 is Ange Postecoglou. He's had so much praise already so far this season, but with a different side tonight. Is he about to get knocked out at the first hurdle, second round for Tottenham this evening on their quest, their long and difficult quest for a trophy? Well, we shall see. Tomorrow night we're also around the grounds. We've also got another commentary on Talksport 2 as well. Chelsea against Wimbledon is our Carabao Cup second round commentary. It's not on TV, that one. That's on Talksport 2 tomorrow night. And the whole thing, Kickoff, gets underway at 6 on Talksport 2 with myself, Lucy Ward, Dean Ashton. We'll all be at games. I'll be at Doncaster Everton tomorrow night. Doncaster bottom of League 2, bottom of the whole EFL. Somehow, though, they won at Hull in the first round of the Cup. That's tomorrow, 6 p.m, Kickoff on Talksport 2. Round the grounds on Talksport. Chelsea Wimbledon, something of a derby, is live on Talksport 2. Let's get a goal, another goal at Salford in the 8 o'clock kickoff. Jim Proudfoot.
No, not quite half time. It was very nearly another goal. That is Salford 1, Leeds 0 at the break for all Leeds possession and flurry of chances. It's their old boy Matt Smith who scored the only goal. Smart header from a Luke Garbett cross, their only attempt on target. And it was a header that was sent across the face of Darlow and into the bottom right-hand corner. Before that, all Leeds. Somerville hit the post. The danger man Gnonto fired over. Gray forced a decent save from Alex Cairns. And Somerville an even better one late in the half. But it could have been 2 on the stroke of half-time. Salford's first corner headed just over by Osama Ashley, with the Leeds defence struggling to deal with Salford's sporadic aerial threat. The Amis back line have ridden their luck on occasions, but Cairns, when forced into saves, has made 2 or 3 really good stops. And with 45 minutes gone, the shock potentially is on. Salford 1, Leeds 0.
Cheers, Jim. Still playing in the first half, injury time at Reading, who lead Ipswich 1-0. Just to give you some info from the PFA Awards, I told you that the Young Player of the Year was Bukayo Saka, the WSL Young Player of the Year, Lauren James of Chelsea, the League 2 PFA Player of the Year, Andy Cook of Bradford City, got 31 goals all competitions last season. Remarkably, he's yet to score this season in 6 games for Bradford so far. We've got a goal early in the second half at Home Park. John Roder.
Inside the opening 2 minutes of the second half, and the Championship side have doubled their lead. It's Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 0, and a quite superb goal from Luke Cundle. Plymouth attacking down the left-hand side. It was played infield to Cundle, who was just inside the penalty area near the left-hand side, and it was obvious what he was going to do. Right-footed, curling shot into the top corner. Outstanding strike. It's Plymouth Argyle 2, Premier League Crystal Palace 0.
Well, that's early in the second half. Late in the first half, there's another goal at Reading. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, not quite half time here, but Ipswich are level. Reading 1, Ipswich 1. Really great play down the right hand side by Amari Hutchinson on loan from Chelsea. He's almost got to the byline, played the ball across. It's taken a flick, I think, off Tom McIntyre, and then right at the far post, touched in from a yard and a half out by Cameron Humphreys. Ipswich are level. Reading 1, Ipswich 1. We've still got 2 minutes of added on time to play.
Thanks very much for that. The League 2 Player of the Year, I told you, Andy Cook of Bradford City. League 1 Player of the Year, an Ipswich player, Connor Chaplin, who got so many goals last season as Ipswich second half of the season were almost literally unbeatable and got themselves automatic promotion. Championship Player of the Year, Chuba Akpom, the top scorer in the Championship, the Middlesbrough striker who's now at Ajax. The Premier League Team of the Year, Alvin Martin, get your view on this as Luton are out for the second half. Gillingham were waiting for. The Premier League Team of the Year, Ramsdale in goal, John Stones, Ruben Dias, William Saliba of Arsenal, who missed quite a chunk of the second half of the season, Kieran Trippier, midfielder Rodri, De Bruyne, Odegaard, and then a front three of Saka, Kane and Haaland. Any arguments there at all?
Well, I think if you only play, half of the games, that would go against. If I was voting, I would go against him on that. So that's the only one that I would really question.
Saliba, you mean? Yeah. When he played, he was good.
Yeah. No. Look, I think Man City, they're always going to get a few people in there, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they're champions again.
Yeah.
So.
And who would be the alternative?
I can't think.
Yeah. So one thing is for sure, you get in that team and you've been consistent. You're a top player. I think even better than that is when you win Player of the Year at your own club. That's when you know you've got everyone on side.
The other one was Aaron Ramsdale in goal, and the irony is that Arteta's gone out and signed a top keeper this summer. So can Ramsdale pin that to his forehead and go into training tomorrow and say, pick me, boss?
Well, I'll tell you what, he was man of the match on a few occasions last year, which tells you again something about Arsenal. Maybe Arteta hasn't gone and missed on Arteta. I think he's got Declan Rice in to give a little bit more protection in front of him, because you don't need your keeper being that busy as often.
In terms of up front, you're always going to pick Kane and Haaland. Saka's the young player of the year. Is Rashford a bit unlucky because he got a lot of goals last season?
Yeah, but I think is he going to get in front of Haaland? Is he going to get in front of Harry Kane? Not for me.
Kane getting 30 goals in that Spurs side, absolutely astonishing, I felt. And he still wasn't Golden Boot winner, which is, he must feel absolutely gutted by that. The half-time whistle has just gone at Reading. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Reading 1, Ipswich 1. Reading ahead inside 90 seconds. The ball played across on the left-hand side, flicked on by Basil Toomer. It looked like it was going to be touched in by Caleb Vickers, but in the end it was an own goal because it went in off Brandon Williams. Ipswich, to be fair, they puffed against the Reading side. Average age 20 years and 7 months, but in the end, finally before half-time, they got their equaliser 6 minutes into the added on time. Lovely play down the right-hand side by Amari Hutchinson, who's on loan from Chelsea. Tried to get the ball across, flicked off of, I think, Tom McIntyre, and was touched in a yard out by Cameron Humphreys. I don't think that Kieran McKenna will be overly pleased by Ipswich's performance, but at least they're level at the break. League 1, Reading 1, Ipswich 1.
That an 8 o'clock kick, of course. The 7:45s are underway, including the one here at Kenilworth Road. There's been a goal at Ashton Gate in the Carabao Cup second round as well, and Norwich, who've made a flying start in the Championship, lead at Bristol City 1-0. Primislav Plaheta has got it 4 minutes after the restart. It's taken his time settling in at Norwich City, but seems to be doing that. I think he got an assist at the weekend, and he scored tonight. Bristol City 0, Norwich City 1. Let's go to the 7:30 kickoff at Swansea tonight. Lawrence Mora.
Where it is, Swansea 1, Bournemouth 1, and as I said earlier, collector's item for David Brooks following his equaliser, partly because it was his right foot, and that's usually just for throwing beautiful shimmies to defenders, but also because Brooks' first senior goal has been scored since his return to action earlier this year after battling back to fitness and winning his battle with cancer. The Welsh international did talk in June when I spoke to him on Wales duty about being an inspiration for those who may be going through similar treatment for Hodgkin lymphoma. Well, wonderful to see him back on the score sheet this evening. Since that goal, it's been all Bournemouth, the home side pinned right back in their own half. Traore has had the ball in the net, but that was offside. The triple substitution at the break for the Cherries really doing the business. One of those changes, Kiefer Moore hauled off for Dominic Solanke, and could that be the last we see Kiefer Moore in a Bournemouth shirt with, and Bournemouth have got the ball in the back of the net, and it's Traore, and it looks like this one is going to stand. There was a header from Solanke off the bar, dropped invitingly to Traore, who fired into the back of the net from close range. Bournemouth have turned this game on the head. I'd said triple substitution at half time. That's really done the business. 67 on the clock. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 2.
Wow, Andoni Iraola turning it around for the Cherries in South Wales. So Bournemouth lead that a 7:30 kickoff. We'll head round the grounds very shortly for the 7:45 kickoffs. Let me remind you the Premier League live exclusive commentaries coming up on the Talksport network on Friday night. We're back here at Kenilworth Road for Luton against West Ham Luton's first home game in the Premier League. Hugh Woozencroft, your host for that. Sheffield United, Everton, Saturday lunchtime. Faye Carruthers will be in charge for that one. That's live and exclusive on Talksport. And in the afternoon, Chelsea against Nottingham Forest is not on UK TV. And that's live and exclusive on Talksport too. While on Talksport, I'll be at Man City Fulham, taking you around the grounds, bringing you all the goals as they go in. We've got a second half goal in the Cup at Prenton Park. Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Tranmere 0, Leicester 1. Wilfred and Ndidi, one of 4 half-time changes from Enzo Maresca, has broken the deadlock. He's picked the ball up wide on the right side of the penalty area and he's drilled a shot across the veteran Murphy. It's hit the far post and gone in. It's a goal that's come against the run of play. There's been a couple of big chances up the other end. Connor Jennings refused a shot from halfway. It sounds daft, but the keeper was out of his penalty area. Then we saw Kieran Morris lash one straight at Salarchik, but the changes, 4 of them, 4 quality changes, Trevor Sinclair, and they've paid dividends.
Yeah, and that's the difference of it between the two sides. You know, that strength coming off the bench, and both of them played a big part there. Akun got the ball down the left-hand side, come inside, played a nice little ball into the centre forward, little bit of link up, it went out wide to Ndidi and he took a touch and a half volley sweet across goal. I'm not sure it was speculative, looking for a little tap in, but it's hit the inside of the post and gone in. No chance for the keeper. Great move, but as you said, against the run of play, I'm sure that Jennings, with his shot that he should have took, he'll be kicking himself after the game, because the keeper was 30 yards. It was perfect there to I know he was inside his own half, but it was perfect to shoot first time. He turned it down, and I'm sure he'll kick himself.
You jumped out of your chair. You thought he was going to hit it, didn't you? And he turned it down.
It's an invitation, and you've got to take that shot on.
Yeah, indeed, a debut for Yunus Akgun off the bench, Wanya Marcel and Ricardo, the 4 that have come on for Leicester. But Tranmere having a good old go here, but just need to get their shooting boots on. We've had 11 second half. It's Tranmere 0, Leicester 1.
The goals as they go in on Talksport as Pompey equaliser home to Posh in the Cup second round. Signed from Bournemouth in the summer, Christian Sadie with his first goal for his new club. Portsmouth 1, Peterborough United 1. We're taking you around the grounds on Talksport tonight in the Carabao Cup second round. It's kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Got goals going in the Carabao Cup. Let's go straight to Craven Cottage. Talksport's Ollie Klink.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 1, Spurs are level, and it's the man under pressure, Richarlison, with the goal. His first of the season. It was a lovely deep cross from the left from Ivan Perisic, and there was Richarlison at the back stick to plant his header past the keeper. Tottenham have improved since the break, Adrian, and now they've equalised, and we've got a cup tie. This one's live on Talksport 2. It's Fulham 1, Tottenham 1.
Comedy of errors in the Gillingham penalty area, but Luton can't capitalise. Stays 2-0 here to the Hatters against League 2 Gillingham. Similar scoreline now at Prenton Park. Another goal there. Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Tranmere 0, Leicester 2. 2 goals in 4 minutes. Wilfred Ndidi got the first. He created the second. In down the right hand side, got to the byline, chipped it over the keeper. Jamie Vardy couldn't miss. Headed it down and into the back of the net. And Trevor Sinclair, Vardy might not have done too much tonight, but he's got his goal.
He has got his goal, and it was down this left hand side for Leicester. Marcel's done superbly well. Cuts inside, plays a simple crossfield ball, nice underlay there by Ndidi, who's made a massive difference since he come onto the field of play. Pinpoint cross, Vardy couldn't miss it, back where it came from, and Joe Murphy in the Tranmere goal had no chance. So probably again a little bit harsh on Tranmere, because they have worked so hard, and they were probably the better side at the beginning of the second half, but goals change games, and this game looks like it's running away from Tranmere.
Yeah, it does indeed. We've just seen a booking there for Connor Jennings, who's gone in pretty heavy there on Ricardo. But Enzo Maresca made changes at half-time. They're paying dividends. Just over an hour gone here. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2.
Now, we thought it might be comfortable for Luton here at Kenilworth Road. Not so. A goal for Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
10 minutes into the second half. Luton 2, Gillingham 1. So the League 2 side are back in the cup tie. Fine finish as well from midfielder Jaden Clark. Put through inside the penalty area, but the angle was tight. He had a heck of a lot of work to do. He skipped beyond the defender at the near post, Mads Anderson, and then curled a shot beyond Tim Krul, who had absolutely no chance of keeping it out. 1,000 Gillingham fans behind that goal. A sold-out away section go absolutely mad, and Gillingham, for all of their endeavour, deserved the goal that's got them back into this one, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, it was a flick on really from Bonnie, just helped it on its way. Burke, who's come on for Lockyer in the rear guard of Luton, got done on the run. It was Anderson actually who really went down too easy, and Krul has just had a clearance blocked, and that could have gone anywhere. They're having a little bit of a wobble here.
And there were words exchanged between Tim Krul and Reece Burke, who, as you say, Alvin, had to come on at half-time for the Luton skipper Tom Lockyer. We don't know whether that's injury related, maybe a precaution for Rob Edwards. Remember, Luton's first Premier League home game is here against West Ham on Friday night. You'll hear the whole game live and exclusive on Talksport. But you look at the pattern of play now, all of the noises from the Gillingham fans away to our left. Luton are rocking here, Alvin.
Well, it certainly can change the direction of the game, no doubt about that. But you've got to say Clark took it really well. I think maybe he could have done better. Crawley went down easy. And he got done on that near post, but really he should never have been allowed to turn back onto his stronger left-hand side there.
Credit to Gillingham, they were 2-0 down at half-time, but as we tick towards the hour mark, the League Two side, second in League Two, are right back in this second round tie. It's Luton 2, Gillingham 1.
Well, Jaden Clark, a little gem picked up from Dulwich Hamlet, once of Spurs Academy, scored a beauty there. What I loved about it, Alvin, just very quickly, that check back onto his right foot before firing home. Mads Anderson, who's in the League One Team of the Year with Barnsley last year, has gone sliding into oblivion. He's absolutely done him there as a centre-back. That must feel so humiliating.
It doesn't feel good, Adrian, because you start sliding past and then you just hope he's going to miss it and he's not going to finish it. But he did that, didn't he? It was a really good individual goal.
Fantastic. So it halves the deficit. Gillingham in with a shout now. Luton 2, Gillingham 1, and a goal at Home Park as well in the Cup. John Roeder.
2 goals in quick succession, both of them for Crystal Palace. It's now Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 2. Roy Hodgson making a triple change. Jordan Ayew, Eberechi Eze and Jeffrey Schlupp all coming on, and Eze in particular has had a hand in both of them. Eze's ball across to Ayew, his cross turned in by Odsonne Edouard from 5 yards out to make it 2-1, and then just moments later Eze crossing this time from the left-hand side, and 2 yards out was Jean-Philippe Mateta for the equaliser. Game on here at Home Park. Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Yep, that's breaking news. JP Mateta has actually scored for Crystal Palace tonight. 2-2 from 2-0 down. Roy Hodgson's side. Goal at Molineux as well, Adam Bridge.
Yeah, game over here, Adrian. Wolves 3, Blackpool 0, and it's Matt Doherty on his return. His first appearance in a Wolves shirt since coming back from Spurs, and his first goal since 2020, which he scored against Spurs here in that Wolves shirt. Sarabia's cross from the left-hand side, header at the edge of the 6-yard box, in off the underside of the bar. It's a comfortable win for Wolves in the end, and Doherty on the score sheet. Last year's quarter-finalist, look that they're going through. It's Wolves 3, Blackpool 0.
Is that another goal back at Plymouth? John Roeder.
Jean-Philippe Mateta has scored again, and Crystal Palace now lead by 3-2. Palace breaking forward, a through ball to Mateta at the edge of the D. He advanced just into the penalty area, right foot shot, unleashed it all the way past Callum Burton in the Plymouth goal. Plymouth Argyle were leading 2-0, but now it is Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 3.
It's almost surreal. He hasn't scored once, he's scored twice. And he scored twice in the space of around 60 seconds. And a quick one from here at Kenilworth Road, because Joe Shen and Gillingham have got a corner. They could even be level.
Luton 2, Gillingham 1. Ashley Nadasan bursting through just a moment ago. Tim Krul got just enough on it to turn it behind. Corner by Max Clark into the area. Krul can only punch it clear. And then from 7 yards out, Macaulay Bonne has hammered it over the top. Miles over the bar. The ball hit the scoreboard on the roof of the Oak Road end away to our left-hand side and dropped down for a goal kick. But Luton very fortunate that they're still 2-1 to the good, Adrian.
Thanks very much for that. Let's get a goal at the Swansea.com Stadium. Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 2, Bournemouth 2. Jamie Patterson, one of the second half subs, with a left-footed effort just to the left-hand side of the penalty area. He'd taken a touch out of his feet, left foot low and hard, right across the goalkeeper into the far corner of the net. This was a really good, well-placed finish, but a goalkeeper's got to be wondering how he's beaten him from that distance with that power on the shot. Well, Swansea from 2-1 down, back on level terms. What a game here. 79 on the clock. Swansea 2, Bournemouth 2.
I can tell you that the Posh are 1-1 at Portsmouth in an all-League One affair, but young defender Charlie O'Connell's been sent off, a second yellow for him, and Peterborough are down to 10 men now. Rash challenge, the second yellow, but still 1-1 there. Where are we off to next on Kickoff on Talksport? Let's head to Rodney Parade on Talksport. Ian Danta.
Newport County 0, Brentford 0, 25 minutes to go, and the pattern of the second half very similar to the first. Nearly 80% possession for Brentford, but they just can't do anything with it. And Thomas Frank has called for the changes. He's brought on Jensen Visser and Mbermo to try and shake things up. Also, Graham Coughlin's made 3 changes for Newport, but penalties beckon if Brentford can't turn this possession into goals. It's Newport 0, Brentford 0.
Remember, it's penalties after the 90, no extra time, which I think adds to the fun and the jeopardy and the drama in the Carabao Cup. Certainly has done on Talksport for the last couple of seasons. Let's head and get the latest at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, still Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1, 61 minutes on the clock, and it's the away side now, Adrian, the Championship side in Middlesbrough, who's starting to turn the key. They've been absolutely fantastic. Great play from Hackney down the right-hand side on a couple of occasions, whipped in, just missed the target, but they look so lively. With Isaiah Jones using his pace down the right-hand side as well, put some lovely balls into the box. Bolton haven't really got the answers for them yet. They're not getting Charles involved in the game in his second half as much as they did in the first half. Just making a couple of changes now as well. But as it stands, it's still Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Another goal back at Molineux, Adam Bridge.
Yeah, Wolves 4, Blackpool 0, and Matt Doherty again. He's doing a Mateta. 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes for Doherty. Looked like Fraser, one of the youngsters who Gary O'Neill's brought on, looked a mile offside. But Darren Cowan down below said, no, play on. And he cut the ball back to Doherty, edge of the 6-yard box, slots it past O'Donnell into the near side corner. Wolves 4, Blackpool 0.
Well, Blackpool beaten 3-0 at Lincoln on Saturday. It's 4-0 tonight. After that 3-0 defeat, Neil Critchley, the manager, called for perspective, saying rightly so, it's their first defeat of the season. Well, they're now heading for their second defeat of the season, albeit at Premier League Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's go to the All-League 2 affair at Racecourse Ground. Dave Rowe.
Wrexham 0, Bradford 1, been that way since the 3rd minute when Tyler Smith scored a penalty for Bradford, who really should now be out of sight. Wrexham have had all the play in the second half, but Bradford keep picking them off on the counter, and they've missed 3 big chances. Halliday coming in from an acute angle after a good play by Walker. That was saved by Mark Howard. Then Walker was excellent once again to Rob Mendy down by the byline, pulled it back for Ossa Debut, got good contact on the shot, but it went over the bar. And moments ago, substitute Poynton has played through Halliday one-on-one. He's dragged his shot wide. There have been changes for Wrexham, some of the big hitters coming on. Elliot Lee, James McLean, both on the field of play. Bradford really should be clear and away and gone. At this stage, though, still Wrexham 0, Bradford 1.
Well, in these 7:45 kickoffs, we are past the hour mark in all of those. Early second half for the couple of 8 o'clock kickoffs we've got starting at the Peninsula with Talksport's Jim Proudfoot.
Yeah, we're 7 minutes into the second half. We've already seen a big shout for a penalty. It remains Salford 1, Leeds 0. It was Nyonta that went down under a challenge from Bolton. The referee Langford waved the appeals away. Replays certainly showed that he appeared to initiate the contact, and the referee got it right. Bolton's playing deeper now after Salford brought on McLennan for Shepherd at half-time to try and negate the threat of Nyonto. 15 shots to 3 in Leeds' favour. All of the possession in this second half. But Matt Smith's header, still the potential match winner. Salford 1, Leeds 0.
And the other 8 o'clock kickoffs are at Reading. What's happening there? Talksport's Ian Abrams.
We've only played 3 minutes of the second half, Adrian. Still Reading 1, Ipswich 1, Sonia Luca on at half-time for Kieran McKenna's side. The Championship team weren't all that bad in the first half, just a little bit disjointed. Remember those 11 changes. Reading trying to give it a go in front of a sparse crowd here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. 3 minutes gone in the second half. It's still Reading 1, Ipswich 1.
You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+B. GambleAware.org. And the latest scores in the Carabao Cup second round: Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1, Port Vale 0, Crewe 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Mansfield 0, Stoke 5, Rotherham 1. Josh Lauren with his second of the evening in the second half, adding to the 4-1 half-time scoreline. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2, and Didi and Vardy with the goals. Wolves 4, Blackpool 0, Wrexham 0, Bradford 1, Salford 1, Leeds 0. Southern section, Swansea 2, Bournemouth 2, Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1. Lukas Jukovic has been sent off for Birmingham. A couple of goals this season, that's his first red. Bristol City 0, Norwich 1, Exeter 1, Stevenage 0, Fulham 1, Spurs 1, live on Talksport 2, Luton 2, Gillingham 1 here at Kenilworth Road, Newport 0, Brentford 0, Plymouth 2, Palace 3, Portsmouth 1, 10-man Peterborough 1, Wickham 0, Sutton United 1, and Reading 1, Ipswich 1. In the EFL Trophy results, MK Dons 4, Chelsea's under-21s 1, and Grimsby have pulled one back in a game that's drawing to a close. Harry Clifton with a goal, but it's Grimsby 1, 10-man Man City under-21s 2. And a goal in the Carabao Cup. Stevenage have equalised at Exeter City. Jordan Roberts with that equaliser, and a big goal and a fine finish to restore the 2-goal cushion for Luton Town here at Kenilworth Road. Joe Shannon.
A belting goal from Corley Woodrow. It's Luton 3, Gillingham 1, and the Premier League side are surely going to be in the hat for round 3 of the Carabao Cup. A little fortunate in terms of the way that it broke to him from just inside the penalty area, but there was nothing fortunate about the finish. A screamer hit sweetly on the half volley, high to the top corner. You have to say the 3 goals that Luton have scored tonight have all been very well done in terms of their execution, and Woodrow just lashed that beyond the dive of Glenn Morris. Luton 3, Gillingham 1, and Alvin Martin, the League 2 side's brave efforts tonight are surely going to be in vain.
Yeah, it was Burke who tried to play a ball in behind the fullback, and it got ricocheted to Woodrow, about 5 yards outside the edge of the box. But I tell you what, we were right behind it, Joe. As soon as it left his foot, it was in. No chance for the keeper whatsoever. Clinical finishing.
And this may be the difference between the quality of finishing that you see in the Premier League and, of course, the quality of finishing that you see lower down the table, lower down the divisions in League 2, because at 2-1, Gillingham had 2 great chances to force an equaliser. Nadasan just about denied by Tim Krul. It almost squirmed under the body of the goalkeeper, but he managed to turn it behind. And then from the resulting corner, Macaulay Bonne, 7 yards out, could only smack the ball over the top. And you feel that Gillingham are being made to pay for that profligacy here, because Luton, through Corley Woodrow's fine right-footed effort into the top corner, have re-established that 2-goal lead. We've had 67 minutes at Kenilworth Road, and it's now Luton Town 3, Gillingham 1.
Another goal in the Carabao Cup as well, and both Birmingham and Cardiff had injury time winners on Saturday, but looks more comfortable for Cardiff this evening. Birmingham down to 10 men. Luka Šiković sent off. Ryan Wintle, who scored that injury time winner from the spot for Cardiff at the weekend, he's got a second for Cardiff. It's Birmingham City 0, Cardiff 2. Birmingham the 2011 League Cup winners, Cardiff the 2012 beaten finalists in the League Cup final. They led for a long time against Liverpool. Eventually they were beaten on penalties 11 years ago. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 2. We are round the grounds with all the goals as they go in on Carabao Cup second round night on Talksport. Over on Talksport 2, it's live commentary of Fulham 1, Spurs 1. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app for free. You can swipe between the 2 stations. We've got another goal in the Carabao Cup, and Scott Hogan, who got his first goal for 6 months on Saturday as Birmingham beat Plymouth by 2-1. Well, he's got another one to follow it up much more quickly than that one. It's Birmingham 1, Cardiff City 2. Scott Hogan half in the deficit with 20 minutes left at St Andrews. Let's take you round the grounds to the 7:30 kickoff. First of all, at Swansea, Lawrence Mora.
Where it is, Swansea 2, Bournemouth 2, 89 on the clock here. The fourth official with the board is just about to put his up as an injury to the far side. So Abdullahi of the Swansea fullback has had a really good game this evening, and we're counting down for a penalty shootout. This game has swung one way then the other, but it looks like Patterson's low drive on 79 minutes could take this game to penalties. We're heading up to 90 minutes, and it's Swansea 2, Bournemouth 2.
Another goal at the racecourse ground. Dave Rowe.
Equaliser, Wrexham 1, Bradford 1. Wrexham back on time for the header by Will Boyle from a corner, swung in from the left hand side by Luke Young, and Will Boyle rising high as to plant the header in the top corner, and Bradford made to pay for several missed chances in the second half. Will Boyle puts Wrexham back on level terms. Wrexham 1, Bradford 1.
Yep, Will Boyle, probably until James McLean arrived late in the window, the big signing for Wrexham from Huddersfield in the summer, the defender. He's got the goal to put them back on level terms tonight. Wrexham 1, Bradford 1. There's a goal back at Swansea, Lawrence Mora.
Swansea 2, Bournemouth 3. It's a substitute, Ryan Christie, with a really neat left-footed finish. He took a lovely first touch just inside the penalty area and then cushioned the ball into the far corner of the net. Really good goal from Christie. Has that broken Swansea's hearts? We've just ticked into 7 added on minutes here at the Swansea.com stadium, and it's Swansea 2, Bournemouth 3.
Well, Rotherham United are getting a proper beating tonight. They narrowly missed out and lost to Leicester at the weekend at home, 2-1, after which the Rotherham manager Matt Taylor said they'd more than matched the best team in the league. Well, they're not doing that tonight. Stoke City 6, Rotherham 1. Mehdi Leris has got the 6th for Alex Neil's side. Let's head to Craven Cottage. Latest there, all square last time we were there. Ollie Klink.
15 minutes to go, Adrian. Fulham 1, Tottenham 1. What a chance for Fulham just now. Beautiful link-up play between Harry Wilson and Tom Kearney on the right-hand side. Wilson found himself inside the box after slipping past Van der Ven, but his effort was saved by Forster. Bobby Deckled-Reid also fired wide from inside the box just before that too. So Fulham on top at the moment. Tottenham have just brought on Son Heung-min, Dejan Kulusevski and Pape Sarr to bolster their attack. James Maddison still waiting on the bench. We may well see him come on too soon. You can listen to this one right now over on Talksport 2. It's Fulham 1, Tottenham 1.
Well, 20 minutes left. Actually 17 and a half minutes of the 90 left here at Kenilworth Road. It is Luton 3, Gillingham 1. We just told you about that third Luton goal from Corley Woodrow. Alvin Martin, a quick word on WSL Player of the Year is Rachel Daly, top scorer in the WSL for Aston Villa, but obviously at the World Cup, which England reached the final of, she was playing as a left back. I think that's fully well deserved. For the Premier League Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year, Erling Haaland has got. It's no real surprise there, is there, Alvin?
Absolutely not. I think he's unstoppable, isn't he? And so young as well, Adrian. It's frightening.
Is he actually the best player, though? I know he scored a lot of goals, but technically he's the best player.
Well, he's the only one that can do that job in the whole squad. I know that what you're saying is anyone who plays in that position will score goals for Man City, but he's special in that he scores all types of goals, and he is somebody, I think, that that scares the opposition. I don't think there's anyone that really scares anyone in Man City's team, but he physically is such a point of your team. Incredible player.
Astonishing. And listen, I know any striker would score goals in that side, but I'm not sure they'd score the amount of goals he got last season. Over 50 goals was something we've never seen before in our lifetime. Absolutely extraordinary. No surprise. Erling Haaland, the PFA Premier League Player of the Year. Let's carry on round the grounds to Rodney Parade. Latest there. Any sign of a goal, Ian Danta?
12 minutes to go. Still Newport 0, Brentford 0. Couple of half chances, one at either end. First, Brian Mbermo on as a second half Brentford substitute. Cut in right corner of the box and let fly with his left peg, but it was blocked behind by Johnny Maxted. And then Scott Bennett on as a Newport substitute. Saw a throw in, roll across the edge of the area, just chanced his right foot at it, and it was only just wide of Ellery Balcom's left-hand post. We still await the deadlock to be broken. Just over 10 to go. Newport 0, Brentford 0.
Goal in the 8 o'clock kickoff at Reading. Ian Abrams.
58 gone. Reading 1, Ipswich 2. It's Freddie Ladapo who's got the goal. About a minute earlier, he'd broken through and inside the penalty. I got the ball past the goalkeeper, but Tom McIntyre got back to get it off the line. Not on this occasion. Lovely through ball from inside the Ipswich half. Through for Ladapo. He was clearing on the goalkeeper, and as Boyce Clark came out to meet him, he threaded it past him and into the back of net. Some 3,000 Ipswich fans bought tickets for the game. Not sure they've all turned up, but those that are here have been celebrating wildly since. Freddie Ladapo has put the Championship side ahead here. Reading 1, Ipswich 2.
Let's get the latest at Home Park. Talksport's John Roder.
Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 3. Argyle comfortably in front. Ben Waine early in the first half. Luke Cundle with an outstanding strike early in the second. But then the turning point. Triple change from Roy Hodgson. Ayew, Eza and Schlapp all on. And then 3 goals in 5 minutes from Palace. Odson Edouard with the first. Jean-Philippe Mateta with goals numbers 2 and 3 for Palace. Palace have looked good for another goal. But then again, so have Plymouth Argyle. We're set for a grandstand finish at Home Park, where it's Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 3.
Wolves declared at Molineux already. Adam Bridge.
They may as well. 10 to go here. Wolves 4, Blackpool 0. It's going to be a bruising defeat for Neil Critchley's side, as you mentioned, not in the best of form after those 2 wins in their opening game of the season. This will be 5 without a victory now, struggling to score goals, and they don't look likely really. This is a procession for Wolves with the goals from Kaladzic and Silva and 2 from Doherty. 10 minutes to go. Wolves 4, Blackpool 0.
In the EFL Trophy, Grimsby have got an injury time equaliser against Man City's under-21s, who are down to 10 men. Record Pike with it 2-2 there. Back to the Carabao Cup. Prenton Park, Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Tranmere 0, Leicester City 2. 2 goals in 4 minutes from Wilfred Ndidi and Jamie Vardy really put this tie to bed. Leicester could and should have had further goals after that. We've just seen Jamie Vardy twice break into the penalty area. First time his touch just let him down. Murphy raced off his line to gather it. Second time in on goal, rather unselfishly squared the ball for the debutant Yunus Akgun, but his shot was well blocked by Turnbull, and we've just seen Vardy getting again, this time down the left, squared it for Ndidi. His shot stung the palms of Murphy. Those 2 goals in 4 minutes, Trevor, really taking the stuffing out of Tranmere. For Leicester now, it just seems a question of how many they're going to win by.
Yeah, it does, sadly, but I think, listen, Ian Dawes will look at this and he'll know the quality of the side that they're playing against. You just have to look at the players that they brought off the bench. You know, Ndidi's probably been the best player on the pitch this second half since he came onto the field of play, and that's what Ian Dawes has not got. But the players that have played for him have given everything. They've stayed humble, they've worked really hard, and they've had 2 out of possession because this is a quality side they're playing against. From a Leicester point of view, I think they've been excellent for the majority part of it, apart from maybe the last 10-15 minutes of that first half where just lost a little bit of discipline and give up a couple of chances. But all in all, this has been a good outing for Leicester, and I'm sure Enzo, although he says he's only 20% into his project and they're playing 20% of how he wants them to play, he'll be pleased that they've made a few steps forward in tonight's game.
Yeah, just over 5 minutes remaining here. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2.
Let's go to Bolton latest there, where it was all square last time. Mickey Gray.
Still the same, Adrian. Still Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1, 78 minutes on the clock. We are getting closer to penalties. Middlesbrough, I have to say, have come out in the second half. They've been outstanding, come really close to Isaiah Jones, who's been a real live wire in the second half, and certainly through Hayden Hackney. Just had a chance there on the right side. Hackney again got himself into the 18-yard box, and his right foot shot just hit the side net. It was a save, actually, from Nathan Baxter, who did come on as a substitute for Bolton in goal for the second half. I don't know what is wrong with Joe Coleman, but Middlesbrough is certainly knocking on the door for this winning goal. Still Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1.
All square last time we were at the racecourse as well. Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Yes, Wrexham 1, Bradford 1 with 10 minutes to go. No doubt that Wrexham are finishing the game the stronger, and certainly since they've equalised through Will Boyer, it's been them very much on top, and Mark Hughes, the Bradford manager, making several changes to try and affect the flow of the game. But it's all Wrexham, all one-way traffic, with good play by Ryan Byrne down the right hand side, some really good crosses coming in, with now the likes of Palmer in the penalty area to attack, and Elliot Lee, who's scored 5 goals already this season, has just half volleyed wide after again good work by Palmer in the penalty area. Wrexham 1 on top here, Wrexham 1, Bradford 1.
Well, we had 7:30 kick-off tonight. The final whistle has just gone at the Swansea.com stadium, and what a game. Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
An absolute cracker, Aid. Swansea 2, Bournemouth 3. The game swinging one way and then the other. Matt Grimes firing a penalty into the top corner on 9 minutes, and for the majority of the first half, the Swans were the better team. 3 changes at the break sorted the cherries out. David Brooks with his first senior goal since returning to action from cancer treatment earlier this year. A right footer into the far corner. Game turned around on 68 minutes. Traore first to react to Solanke's header coming back off the crossbar to finish. Swansea have barely been out of their half for the entire second period, but substitute Jamie Patterson on 79 minutes grabbed the equaliser. It was a low drive from the left-hand corner of the penalty area right into the far corner. As the game clicked over 90 into 7 minutes of added on time, Ryan Christie robbed me of a penalty shootout with a lovely touch and a finish into the far corner of the net. They might be without a win in the Premier League this season, but the Cherries have their first victory of the campaign, just about. Swansea 2, Bournemouth 3.
Right, Crystal Palace fans, are you sitting down for this? You're not going to believe what you're about to hear at Home Park. John Roeder.
Jean-Philippe Mateta has scored a hat-trick. It's Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 4, and Eza involved again. His contribution since coming on as a substitute 10 minutes in the second half, absolutely important for Crystal Palace. Eza dispossessing a tired-looking Matt Butcher, fed Mateta on the right side of the penalty area. Right foot shot, fired in, and Crystal Palace surely with 1 foot in the third round now. Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 4.
Well, he's been linked with a move to Leipzig, among others, this summer, JP Mateta, and I don't think any Palace fans would have thought he'd get anywhere near the goal, never mind a hat-trick tonight, but fair play to him, and it looks like Palace heading through. Wolves definitely heading through. Another goal at Molineux. Adam Bridge.
Wolves 5, Blackpool 0. A nice goal as well. Nathan Fraser, 18 years of age, senior debut tonight. He's poked home via a deflection from about 12 yards out. 6 minutes to play. It's Wolves 5, Blackpool 0.
Mansfield have equalised at Sheffield Wednesday. Rhys Oates with the goal on 85 for Nigel Clough's side. One apiece at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday yet to get a point in the Championship this season. Bottom of the table, and without a single point to their name as Luton go for a fourth, but that's just off target with a right footer from the edge of the box. So let's go to the Peninsula Stadium latest there, Jim Proudfoot.
where it's still Salford 1, Leeds 0, and the League Two side have led for more than half an hour now, while Salford have been able to stem the flow of chances to some extent. Leeds beginning to turn the screw again. They had a corner headed back by Ampadu, and on that, Strout had a header that was saved. The Dutchman then saw an effort deflected over the bar. Somerville's been twice thwarted by Cairns. They brought Sinistera on for Gelhardt, who was largely ineffective tonight, but it's still Matt Smith's first half header that is the difference between the sides, and Salford 20 minutes away from one of the biggest cup wins of their history. Salford 1, Leeds 0.
So let's take you to the other 8 o'clock kick-off at Reading. Ian Abrahams.
6 minutes on the clock, still Reading 1, Ipswich 2, Ladapo flipping it on. It could be an overload here on the far side, but they can't just quite work out. Beautiful ball, by the way, from Lee Evans for Ladapo's goal. Charlie Savage has just come on for Reading. He, of course, is the son of Robbie Savage. Interesting to see what he's got in his locker, apart from the 11 A-stars he got at high school. But there we go. It's Reading 1, Ipswich 2, 6 on the clock.
I saw him earlier this season as Reading beat Cheltenham, and he was a good technician in the middle of the park. Looks like he's got a future. Finally, a goal at Rodney Brady and Danta.
Newport County 0, Brentford 1. The Premier League side looked to have snatched it with 3 minutes of normal time to go. Matthias Jensen poking the ball home from right on the goal line. A cross sent over from the right, somehow kept in on the far byline left-hand side, I think by Johan Visser. Across the face goal, it cut out the goalkeeper, and Jensen could not miss. Approaching stoppage time, and it's Newport 0, Brentford 1.
Remember, Swansea already out. They've been beaten at home by Bournemouth by 3-2. That was a 7:30 kickoff. JP Mateta with a hat-trick for Palace tonight. That's 3 goals tonight. That's more than he scored in the whole of last season in all competitions. Incredible. And it looks like Luton are heading through here at Kenilworth Road. Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
We've got 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Luton Town 3, Gillingham 1 in torrential rain here at Kenilworth Road. There are even 1 or 2 drops sneaking through the corrugated iron roof above our heads here in this main stand, but fortunately we're mostly dry. And Luton were 2-0 up at half time. Jacob Brown with his first goal for the club. Alfie Doughty's fine free kick. Gillingham have given it a right good go in the second half. Credit to the League Two side. They got themselves back in the game through Jaden Clark, but then missed opportunities to draw level, and that allowed Corley Woodrow to power Luton into a 3-1 advantage. Since then, not seen too much at either end. Luton have had a penalty appeal turned down. Iskabore thought he was fouled by Scott Malone inside the 18-yard box. The referee said no, and Corley Woodrow, looking for his second and Luton's fourth, has seen an effort fly over the top. It's not quite done yet, Alvin Martin, but unless Gillingham can get a goal in the next couple of minutes or so, this cup tie is surely over.
Yeah, it looks like it's just fizzled out to a certain degree. There's been lots of changes as well for both teams, and that's disrupted the flow of the game. But Ross Barkley's come on for Luton, and they showed some really nice touches. One lovely ball out to Woodrow. And he probably slows it down a little bit too much because he likes to play really fast, but you can see he's got that extra little bit of composure on the ball.
Well, they have got a free kick here, Gillingham. It is midway inside the Luton half to the right of centre. As we look at it, they're playing from right to left in blue and white towards the Oak Road end to the left-hand side. That's where away fans will be at Kenilworth Road again this season, and it's floated into the area. Ema, the captain, with a glancing header, but that takes one bounce, and it's collected by Tim Krul. 5 minutes to go. Luton 3, Gillingham 1.
It is a kick-off on Talksport. Let's head to our commentary game on Talksport 2. Craven Cottage. Any sign of a winner there? Talksport's Ollie Klink.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 1 as Fulham come forward right now with Wilson inside the box. Another big save from Fraser Forster. It's been chances end to end, really. Manor Solomon was on loan at Fulham last season, Adrian, and he almost curled in the winner just now. He cut in from the left before bending it at goal, but he was denied by Marek Rodak. And James Madison has been thrown on too. He's just drifted brilliantly past some Fulham defenders on the left, drove to the byline, pulled it back, but there was no one there to finish it. Spurs have been knocking on the door. By the way, this is worth mentioning. During the spell when Richarlison got the equaliser earlier, just after the hour mark, Kenny Tete, the Fulham fullback, was having a nightmare. One of his boots split. He ran to the bench to get them fixed, then remembered his spares were in the tunnel, so he ran over there, and then he ended up off the pitch when the goal was scored. Don't forget your boot bag next time, Kenny. The closing stages of this are on Talksport 2. It's Fulham 1, Tottenham 1 with 1 minute to go.
He had a shocker giving away a penalty at the weekend. Shocker with his boots. tonight. Let's head to Home Park. What's happening there? John Roder.
We've just gone into 6 minutes of additional time at the end of the 90. Jean-Philippe Mateta's hat-trick. The headline as Crystal Palace come from 2-0 down to lead by 4 goals to 2. Elsan Edouard with the other. Plymouth, to their credit, still going, still looking for a way back into this match, but 2 goals in 6 minutes required now from the Championship side. We're into additional time. Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 4.
Well, we've got 3.5 minutes left of the 90 here at Kenilworth Road. Luton leading Gillingham by 3 goals to 1. Let's remind you of the scores as we head up to full time in the 7:45 kickoffs tonight. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 1. Remember, if they're level on the 90 plus injury time, it goes straight to penalties. No extra time tonight. Port Vale 0, Crewe 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Mansfield 1. That's 3 penalty shootouts right there. Stoke 6, Rotherham 1, Tranmere 0, Leicester 2, Wolves 5, Blackpool 0. Those rather more decisive. Wrexham 1, Bradford 1 in the 8 o'clock kickoff. At the Peninsula, it's Salford 1, Leeds United 0. In the southern section, Bournemouth are through. They won 3-2 in a cracker at Swansea City. Ryan Christie with the winner. There's another goal back at Salford. Talksport's Jim Proudfoot.
And Pascal Struijk has scored it for Leeds with 14 minutes to go. Sam Greenwood had just come on to replace Archie Gray, and his first touch was to send a free kick in the penalty area. Salford couldn't deal with it. Real scramble, and Struijk, who on a different day might have had a hat-trick tonight, has been able to bundle it in from close range. 15 to go. Salford 1, Leeds 1.
Well, we thought it might be all over here at Kenilworth Road, but another goal has shaken things up as we draw to a close. Joe Shannon.
It's game on. Luton 3, Gillingham 2. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Can the League 2 side find an equaliser to force penalties against the Premier League team here at Kenilworth Road? It's Tom Nichols who's got Gillingham back into the game, having just come off the bench. Lovely glancing header in off the post beyond the dive of Tim Krul following Che Alexander's cross. Gillingham deserve it for their efforts again on the night, and it's not done just yet. Luton 3, Gillingham 2, Alvin Martin.
Well, it's a really good header, well placed, but nobody was near him, Joe. Unbelievable. You got 3 centre-halves in there, and not one of them chose to make contact with him. A good finish, and you couldn't see it coming really, but it skidded off the surface. No chance for Krul. But like you said, it might be game on.
And so Luton Town concede for the 9th time this season in 3 games in all competitions. They will entertain West Ham in the Premier League, their first Premier League home game here at Kenilworth Road. It'll be live on Talksport on Friday night, but there is real hope now for Gillingham and their fans behind the goal of a late comeback as they whip the ball into the penalty area again. This time it's headed clear at the heart of the Luton back line by Amari Bell. We're into the final minute of normal time, and it's Luton Town 3, Gillingham 2.
And Alvin Martin, Gillingham just booming balls into the box now, trying to get on level terms and headers for a shootout. We've got a corner for Gillingham, but you can see first half Gillingham weren't particularly great. They've come out second half, and you can see why they've had such a great start to the season, albeit in League 2.
Yeah, well, one thing they have shown is character, because they've had setbacks and they've overcome them, but if they get delivery right, they do attack the ball in the box very well.
Let's stay with it for this corner, Joe Shannon.
Sean Williams will take it, left-footed in swing in front of the Gillingham fans, into the near post and headed away by Woodrow. It's come out to Alexander, 25 yards from goal, looks to float it back out wide to that far side. Driving rain here at Luton, crossed by Sean Williams, deep to the back post. It's come out to Scott Malone, trying to bend one, and it's collected by Krul, spreading himself to his left-hand side. Very experienced player, Scott Malone. He knows Neil Harris from their days together at Millwall. Just tried to place that into the far corner, away from the goalkeeper. Krul made the save into 5 minutes of added time. Can the League 2 team force penalty kicks? Luton 3, Gillingham 2.
Well, I know Scott Malone had a little mini break last week at Butlins on the south coast. It seems to have done him good. He put something into that shot. Have we got a winner at Bolton, Mickey Gray?
We certainly have, Adrian, and it is the turnaround. It's Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 2. I have to say, the Championship side have been outstanding in the second half, and it's the substitute Riley McGree. They've been putting so much pressure on Bolton's back line. He picks the ball up at the edge of the 18-yard box, chops in on his left foot and just fires it low into the bottom corner to give Nathan Baxter absolutely no chance. They deserve it, Middlesbrough. They've been outstanding in the second half. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Could this be the start of the turnaround for Michael Carrick and Middlesbrough? All over at Prenton Park for Trevor Sinclair and Mark Wilson.
Yeah, ended here. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2. 2 goals in 4 minutes in the second half. Wilfred Ndidi on as a half-time substitute He tucked in from close range to make it 1-0, shooting across the goal. And then Jamie Vardy on the end of an Ndidi cross. He headed in from inside the 6-yard box to make it 2-0. Leicester never really in any kind of trouble here. Had plenty of possession first half, didn't make it count. Second half they did. Probably should have won by more. Trevor Sinclair, job done, isn't it?
Yeah, job done. Very professional. Apart from probably the last 15 minutes in the first half, I thought Leicester City were excellent. Applied themselves really well. Stuck to the principles in the most part, and Maresca will be very pleased with the way that the players played. Looking at Tranmere, Ian Dawes will be proud of the players, because I think when you work so hard and you've got so little possession in that opening 30 minutes, you earn the right not to get thumped 5 and 6-0, and that's what they did. And I know they still went out the EFL Cup, but I think that opening half an hour, the effort that the players collectively from top to bottom put into that opening half hour to stop themselves conceding, I think that's why it was a more comfortable final 15-20 minutes, because if you allow Leicester to go 3-4 up, you're chasing shadows, and it's a really uncomfortable night. So you've just got to stand an applause from the home fans. So that shows you how much effort and how much they appreciate it.
Yeah, gutsy effort from Tranmere, but the 3-time League Cup winners are through. Leicester's perfect start continues. 6 wins in 6 for them. It ends here. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2.
Big goal at Rodney Parade and Danta.
Newport County 1, Brentford 1. We were in 8 minutes of added time. The ball was swept in from the Newport left by Adam Lewis. Brilliant cross. And Kibben Rai, young 18-year-old from the academy, on as a substitute in the second half, powered home a header past Ellery Balcombe, and we are set for penalties in South Wales. We've got a minute of the minimum 8 to play. Newport County 1, Brentford 1.
Wow, remember Brentford's, it was 1-1 for them at home to League 2 Gillingham last season. Gillingham won the shootout. Could be a shootout again for the Bees this evening. It's all over at Molineux without a shootout. Adam Bridge.
Yeah, no need for that here. Wolves 5, Blackpool 0. Near perfect night for Gary O'Neill's side. Goals in the first half from Kaladzic and Silva, and in the second a double from Doherty on his second debut for the club, and also a debut goal for Nathan Fraser, his first senior appearance, and he finished the rout to make it 5-0 in the end. Last year's quarter-finalists are into round 3. As for Blackpool, not much to say. They hit the woodwork twice, but that was about it really. Full time, Wolves 5, Blackpool 0.
Gillingham have just gone close. They've got a corner out of it. We've got another goal at Bolton. Mickey Gray.
Well, it's certainly tie-over now, Adrian. It's now Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 3. Superb goal for this time from Morgan Rogers. Work it really well down the right-hand side. Riley McGree involved yet again. Plays the ball into Morgan Rogers. A touch out with his right foot and just passes the ball into the back of the net. Super finish. Middlesbrough going into round 3. Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 3.
Well, Luton just had to score, but they haven't scored. It was 4 against 1, and they still didn't put it away, and we've still got time left in this game. It's Luton 3, Gillingham 2. It is all over, though, at Home Park. John Roder.
Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 4. The Championship side 2-0 up through Wayne and Cundall early in the second half. But then Roy Hodgson made a triple change. Eberechi Eza and Jordan Ayew making a huge difference. Odson Edouard with the equaliser. And then a hat-trick from Jean-Philippe Mateta. Plymouth Argyle 2, Crystal Palace 4.
Norwich are through. They've won 1-0 at Bristol City. Cardiff have got a third. They lead 3-1 at 10-man Birmingham. Keon Atete deep into injury time with that one. And Stoke have thrashed Rotherham by 6 goals to 1. Stoke go through to round 3. The time is up. Final whistle's gone at Craven Cottage. Ollie Klink.
It's finished. Fulham 1, Tottenham 1. We're heading for penalties here at Craven Cottage. Spurs didn't quite have the edge in the second half. Fulham had taken the lead in the first half through a Mickey van der Ven own goal. Spurs got level in the second through Richarlison's header. There were late opportunities for Raul Jimenez and James Maddison, but these two unable to separate each other, and we head for spot kicks, which you can hear live right now on Talksport 2. It's finished. Fulham 1, Tottenham 1. Penalties on the way.
Yeah, we'll bring you those on Talksport 2. If you want to listen to that, just download the app. It won't take long at all. You can swipe between the 2 stations or tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. Luton are through. They've just won a 5-goal thriller, 3-2 against League 2 Gillingham here tonight, and the whistle has gone at Newport as well. Ian Danta.
County 1, Brentford 1, so penalties here too. Matthias Jensen thought he'd sent Brentford through in the 87th minute, tapping home from close range, but Newport were not to be denied, and Kibben Rai, his first goal in professional football, levelled matters deep in added time. Penalties on the way, Adrian. Newport 1, Brentford 1.
Let's quickly go to Wrexham for full time there, but it's not all over. Dave Rowe.
Yeah, Wrexham 1, Bradford 1. Penalties here in this one too. Bradford led for a long period. Tiger Smith penalty in the 3rd minute after Jamie Walker had been brought down, and Bradford should really have extended their lead, missing 3 big chances in the second half whilst Wrexham dominated the play. Eventually they got back on terms on 73. The corner kick by Luke Young, headed in by Will Boyle. Nobody could find a winner. Both these sides got to round 2 with a shootout, and they'll do it again now. Wrexham 1, Bradford 1.
Well, the Fulham Spurs shootout will be on Talksport 2. The Newport Brentford shootout will be here on Talksport, but it's full time here at Kenilworth Road, and Luton have made it through. Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon.
Luton Town 3, Gillingham 2. The Premier League team through to round 3, but questions as well as answers for Luton boss Rob Edwards ahead of the visit of West Ham here on Friday night, live and exclusive on Talksport. The home side scored 3 fine goals, but they were pushed all the way by League 2 Gillingham, who were not far off forcing penalties on a rain-soaked evening at Kenilworth Road. Luton's best moments came in the first 27 minutes. A very early first goal for the club from Jacob Brown put them into the lead, and then the advantage doubled thanks to Alfie Doughty's wonderful 30-yard free kick. Early in the second half, though, the away team fought back through Jayden Clark's composure in the 6-yard box, followed by a thumping finish. Gillingham then missed chances to equalise before Corley Woodrow smashed home what proved to be the winner, and so Tom Nichols' glancing header for Gillingham was ultimately a consolation, though Johnny Williams, on as a sub, smacked just wide from 25 yards for what could have been the goal to take the tie to penalties. In the end, Alvin Martin, Luton through, but it wasn't completely convincing.
No, that's right, and much too tight, I'm sure, for Rob Edwards. And there would have been parts of this performance that he enjoyed, Joe. There was a lot of tenacity. They did play at a real pace. They scored some wonderful goals, but in the end they were sloppy as well. I mean, that was down to maybe both teams making a lot of changes and disrupted the flow of the game, but it was a really entertaining game. I couldn't see Gillingham getting back into it, but credit to them and Neil Harris, they showed a lot of character.
Kenilworth Road will be live for the visit of West Ham on Friday night. Do you expect wholesale Luton changes again?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be the same starting lineup that we had tonight, but look, I think they will know that they've got to find a lot more class at Premier League level, but there's no reason why they can't up it really from what we've seen tonight.
Full time Luton 3, Gillingham 2.
Full time at Bolton as well. Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Well, it's finished Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 3. It was the League One side that started the better in the tie and deservedly took the lead on 23 minutes through the lively Dion Charles after good play from Josh Sheehan down the right hand side to give Charles a simple task of slotting the ball into the back of the net. Middlesbrough reacted and on 33 minutes got back on level terms with a lovely finish from Matty Crooks lobbing Joel Coleman into the Bolton goal. The away side had a better of the second half and came close on numerous occasions through Jones, Hackney, Silvera and McNair hitting the crossbar from long range, but on 91 minutes the turnaround was complete. Riley McGree with a stunning left foot strike from the edge of the box into the bottom corner. Still time for another, and Matty Rogers on 94 minutes after a great play from McGree down the right hand side played in Rogers in the box and he slotted the ball home to see Middlesbrough through to the 3rd round. Finished here at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. It's Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 3.
Straight to Rodney Parade for a penalty shootout with Talksport Ian Danta.
First penalty for Newport and hit the post. Adam Lewis, who supplied the cross for the equalising goal, has smacked the post to Ellery Balcom's left hand side with his penalty. So the worst possible start for Newport County. They went first in this penalty shootout and they hit the post with their first penalty, so it'll be Brian Burmo by the looks of it to take Brentford's first spot kick. He came on as Thomas Frank threw on the cavalry in the second half to try and change things in a game where Brentford had dominated possession but just couldn't find the goal until 3 minutes from the end of the 90 when Matthias Jensen put them in front, only for Kibben Wright to equalise. And Burmo with a very short run up, 2 paces to the ball, and he sends the keeper the wrong way, puts it into the right hand corner at the south stand end to my right, in front of the travelling Brentford contingent who were in that stand. So after 1 penalty apiece, Brentford have the advantage. Nathan Wood is going to be up next for Newport County. He came on as a sub in the second half, as well as Graham Coughlin made changes to try and stem the tide of Brentford possession that was streaming forward. Places the ball carefully on the spot. Ellery Balcom, his debut for Brentford, he's keeping in a penalty shootout here for Brentford. Wood steps up, right-footed, save! And Balcombe celebrates his debut by keeping out Newport's second penalty. And Brentford have a strong advantage here before they even take their second penalty through Johan Visser. Remember, Gillingham knocked them out on penalties last season in round 3 at the G-Tech. But Johan Visser steps up to put the ball on the spot for Brentford's second penalty to give them a clear advantage. Johnny Maxted waits on his line. Up sticks Visser, right-footed, and that's in the bottom corner. Maxted guessed the right way and plunged to his right, but couldn't keep it out. So it's 2-0 to Brentford after 2 penalties apiece. Here on Talksport at Rodney Parade. There's penalties elsewhere. Let's get a quick update on the penalties at Craven Cottage. Ollie Klink.
Where Davinson Sanchez has just seen his penalty saved for Spurs. They're now 3-2 behind in the shootout. Both teams have taken 3 penalties each, but Tottenham behind, and Fulham may have a chance to extend their advantage here. Tottenham behind in the shootout, Dance.
James Waite to take the next penalty for Newport. They need to get off the mark, and they still can't score. Another save from Balcombe, plunging to his right hand side again, and Newport have failed with all 3 spot kicks, and that means that Matthias Jensen, who I think is coming up to take Brentford's 3rd penalty, can take them through. In fact, it's Keane Lewis Potter who's coming to take this penalty. He managed to keep the ball in play to allow Matthias Jensen to score that goal for Brentford in normal time, but he has the spot kick. If he scores this, there's nothing that Newport can do. Short run up for Lewis Potter, right-footed, blasted into the corner of the net, and that is a simple, straightforward penalty shootout win, as you could wish to see for Brentford. They exercise the ghost of last season's departure from this competition to Gillingham on penalties, but they make it through. Newport worked them hard, and they got that goal. Kiban Rice first in professional football, deep into added time, but ultimately from 12 yards, Newport had nothing, and Brentford cruised through to round 3. It's finished 1-1 after normal time, 3-0 to Brentford on penalties.
Let's go to the shootout at Craven Cottage. Ollie Klink.
Kenny Tete, Adrian, is stepping up for Fulham, and if he scores this penalty, he will knock Tottenham out of the League Cup. He'd gone off the pitch earlier because his boots had split. He wasn't on the pitch for Tottenham's equaliser. He could win it here. He steps up, right-footed, and puts it into the bottom corner. And Fulham are through to the 3rd round of the League Cup. Tottenham Hotspur are out. It was Davinson Sanchez who missed the crucial penalty. It was saved by Marek Rodak, and they are out in the 2nd round of the League Cup. It's finished here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Tottenham 1. Fulham win 5-4 on penalties.
Wow. I tell you what, there's been another shootout as well. Crewe missed all 4 of their penalties. Port Vale won 2-0 in the shootout after a 0-0 draw, so Port Vale go through. Let's go to Reading. There's been a goal there, Ian Abrahams.
There has. Reading 2, Ipswich 2. We're heading for a shootout here as well. Kelvin Ihatibaman has come on and scored a brilliant goal. He shoveled an Ipswich defender off the ball right on the near touchline, made his way inside the penalty area, and from 8 yards out at quite a tight angle, he beat the goalkeeper and made it Reading 2, Ipswich 2, with 2 minutes away from the end of the 90, and then a possible penalty shootout here too.
And Mansfield have beaten Sheffield Wednesday 5-4 on penalties, so the Championship side are out. That was a 1-1 draw at Hillsborough, that's how it finished. And League 2 Mansfield under Nigel Clough have beaten Sheffield Wednesday 5-4 on penalties. Let's find out what's happened in the shootout at the racecourse. Dave Rowe.
Crucial moment here, advantage Bradford, chance to go through with this penalty from Dan Ayagyarku. He's saved, Wrexham stay alive in the shootout, and the penalty shootout goes on because that's the 5th penalty from Bradford City. Dan Ayagyarku is denied by Mark Howard, and that keeps Wrexham in this shootout because they missed their first penalty through Luke Young. We then saw perfect spot kicks all the way through, with Bradford's spot kicks going in from Derbyshire, Smallwood, Wilson and Halliday. They had that spot kick to go through, but they've been denied, and now James Jones will take the 5th penalty for Wrexham, and if he scores this one, then we'll be all square after 5 apiece. He still has to score here to continue the shootout. He's up now against Lewis. Oh, the keeper has saved it, and that's sending Bradford through. Jones could not convert the penalty, and it is Harry Lewis, the hero for Bradford City. Luke Young missed one for Wrexham, putting it wide early in the shootout, and then the keeper made that save, and it's Bradford City who go through into round 3, 4-3 on penalties.
Wow, he is a really good keeper, the Bradford keeper, and they make it through. Also on penalties, Exeter are through. They've beaten Stevenage 5-3 on penalties. Stevenage under Steve Evans beat Watford on pens in the first round, but they couldn't do it at St James Park tonight. Exeter City go through, and the Posh are through on penalties as well. Finished 1-1 at Portsmouth. Portsmouth were in control of that shootout. Abu Kamara missed, then Pompey missed again. Posh win 5-4 on penalties. The big news though, Spurs are out, beaten on penalties at Fulham. What's happening at Salford? Jim Proudfoot.
Oh, everything. We're in the 6th added minute of 8, and it's still 1-1. It's all Leeds United. Alex Cairns, the one-time Leeds United goalkeeper, made a wonderful save to deny Jorginho Ruta, which what might well have proved to be the winner. So we've got about 2 minutes or so to go. Leeds shot count up into the 30s, and they will add to it here with a free kick that is about 8 yards outside the penalty area right of centre. Cairns has lined up a 4-man wall. Oh, it's hit the bar. Sam Greenwood striking it over the wall, and his cannon back off the top of the bar and into the 1,200 Leeds fans at that end of the ground, and it remains 1-1, and Salford will feel that, okay, they've ridden their luck at times, but they deserve at least to take this to a penalty shootout. They've only had one previous round 2 tie in this competition in their history. They were beaten 3-0 by Everton back in 2020, so they have a chance to make it through to the 3rd round for the first time. Pascal Strauch from a scramble, equalising. Matt Smith's header in the first half. Smith's gone off injured now and has been replaced by Marcus Dackers, the one-time Brighton apprentice, who's up front, and he will take his place towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area here as the Ammies win a free kick, which is about 10 yards inside Leeds territory. We've got 70 seconds of stoppage time to go before a shootout. Salford hoping to get the job done before it goes to penalties. High ball swung in towards the very tall Dackers. He's got his head to it. Stratton misses it. Comes down for Greenwood, who can hammer it away from inside his own penalty area. And then it'll be driven right-footed back over the top. Dackers is onside here. And he'll pick it up. Played on by Cresswell. Touch back towards the left-hand side. McElhaney inside the Leeds penalty area. Drives it in. It hits Shackleton and goes out of play for a corner. So a corner to Salford City and a chance to win this 2-1. The corner will be taken on this left-hand touchline by Stevie Mallant, who himself came close to scoring a second Salford goal earlier in this half. Everybody back for Leeds United. 20 seconds to go. Right-footed in-swinging delivery, very deep from Mallan. Headed away by Cresswell, outside the penalty area. Dink back over the top, should be easy for Darlow. Comes out, gets his hands on it, waves everybody upfield. And now will clear from the edge of his own penalty area and launch it long, where Leeds just for a moment had a 2 against 1. It's headed away before it got to Gnonto. Goes out of play for a throw, and Salford have got half the job done. They've got this to penalties. Really entertaining game. Leeds with 31 shots in the 90 minutes. But Alex Cairns, the one-time Leeds United goalkeeper, a hero for Salford. The captain making a string of outstanding saves, none better than the one that denied Ruta. But will he be the hero in the shootout? Salford 1, Leeds 1, and the penalties are coming up.
Right, let me bring you all the full times from the Carabao Cup, the ones that have happened so far. Second round, Bolton 1, Middlesbrough 3, Port Vale 0, Crewe 0, Vale win 2-0 in the shootout. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Mansfield 1, Mansfield win 5-4 on penalties. Stoke 6, Rotherham 1, Tranmere 0, Leicester 2, Wolves 5, Blackpool 0, Wrexham 1, Bradford 1, Bradford win on penalties. Salford 1, Leeds 1, that's about to go to penalties as you just heard. Swansea 2, Bournemouth 3, Birmingham 1, Cardiff 3, Bristol City 0, Norwich 1, Exeter 1, Stevenage 1. Exeter through on penalties into round 3 for the first time since 1989. Fulham 1, Spurs 1, Fulham win the shootout, Spurs are out. Luton 3, Gillingham 2 here at Kenilworth Road. Newport 1, Brentford 1. Newport missed all their penalties. Brentford go through. Plymouth 2, Crystal Palace 4, hat-trick for JP Mateta. Portsmouth 1, Peterborough 1, Posh win 5-4 on penalties. Wickham 0, Sutton United 1, and Reading 2, Ipswich 2. They're still playing at the SCL. EFL Trophy tonight, MK Dons 4, Chelsea 1, Grimsby 2, Man City 2. Man City pick up the bonus point, winning the shootout. In the Cymru Premier, Barrytown United 2, Haverfordwest 2, Carnarvon 1, Ballatown 1, Colwyn Bay 0, New Saints 1, Conisky Nomads 3, Newtown 1, Pennebont 0, Cardiff Met 0, and in the Irish Premiership 2-2 between Glentoran and Crusaders. Alvin Martin, I love penalties. The drama, it's so... I miss out. Forget extra time, just go straight to penalties. Love it.
I got to say that everybody did a great job there. I was just sitting there listening to it. It's so great to listen to it like that. You know, you don't know what's going to happen, and everyone's on the ball. It was brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
And there were quite a number of penalty shootouts as well, but Spurs going out has got to be the big story.
Yeah,
tonight.
that's the story. They've had a good start. You think, okay, well, the consistency, can they keep getting that? Richarlison gets himself a goal after the speculation, is he going to drop him, isn't he going to drop him, but they couldn't build on it, and that could be a real setback for them now.
It could. Do you think Ange has really got the message what the job is at Tottenham Hotspur? I know he's playing better and Ange ball and all of that, and people like him, they like how humble he is and the things he says. But the fact is, they've got to win a trophy. They've got to be a lot better. This is not a casual appointment. This is an appointment with real responsibility.
It's very hard to judge on this game tonight. You know, it's a cup game. They're so focused on the Premier League aid, and they are scoring goals. You know, they've averaged 2 goals a game without Harry Kane. So there's a lot of promise there. But it's about really 10, 15 games in, where are they going to be? And is it maybe a mentality thing? Maybe there's without Harry Kane, and I still believe you can get away with it for maybe 5, 10 games, but it's over the course of a season. The amount of times he got them out of trouble, that's not going to be there now. So they're going to have to do that cohesively as a team, and that's a big step to take.
Wasn't just the shootouts that were drama here at Kenilworth Road. The warm downs are taking place. Luton beat Gillingham by 3-2. The Gills running them close. Let's go back to the Peninsula where it finished. Salford 1, Leeds 1. Jim Proudfoot.
Oh, such an entertaining game. Leeds completely dominant, 31 shots to 5. The XG was getting on for 4-1 in their favour, but the bottom line is that one former Leeds United man has made a hero for Salford tonight. Matt Smith with the goal. Can another Alex Cairns, who made one appearance for Leeds as a teenager, do likewise? Leeds to take the first penalty. Greenwood against Cairns, and he's put it in comfortably, driven with real pace into the bottom left-hand corner. So Leeds strike first in this shootout. And Cairns retrieves the ball from his net. He's made a number of really good saves tonight. And he picks the ball up and he bowls it out for Stevie Mallon, who will take this first penalty for Salford. And the penalties are being taken in front of the Salford fans away to our left-hand side. A crowd of only just a little over 3,000 here tonight. Surprisingly small, perhaps, with a travelling contingent of 1,200, but they've been treated to a belting game. Mallon against Darlow, and that was hit with ferocity right down the middle. And it's all square at 1 apiece after 1 penalty each. Next up for Leeds United, it's going to be Pascal Struijk, the big Dutchman who came off the bench to score against Shrewsbury in the first round. And he scored an equalising goal tonight. 14 minutes from time to at least book Leeds this penalty shootout. And he's retrieved the ball, has been handed it by Carl Darlow. Spins it a couple of times in his hands and places it down now. It's quite a straight run up here from Struijk against Alex Cairns, and he'll hit it left-footed and squeezes it under the diving Cairns and into the bottom right-hand corner. So, 3 penalties in this shootout. They've all been scored, 2-1 in Leeds' favour at the moment. How will the nerves be of these Salford players? They've only won one of their last 5 games in all competitions, which was a victory at Tranmere with a Callum Hendry hat-trick. Can they tie this up at 2-2? Next penalty is going to be taken by another one of the substitutes. It's Maloney who's made his way forward. So what can McElhaney do here? Really good penalty. Just put into the bottom right-hand corner, no problem. Darlow had gone the wrong way. So still, everything all square. 2 penalties apiece, and they've all been scored. Jorginho Ruta makes his way forward. Next up for Leeds United, man who finally broke his duck for the club at Ipswich at the weekend. At the 16th time of asking, he's come close on a couple of occasions tonight, but couldn't beat Cairns. Will he be able to now from 12 yards? Salford fans behind that goal doing what they can to put him off. Ruta in his white boots, left-footed. It's a really poor penalty that's easily saved. Cairns dived to his right-hand side and grasped it into his body. And if ever there was a moment that encapsulated Jorginho Ruta's Leeds United career so far, that was it. It is advantage Salford if they can score this penalty. And it's Ryan Watson who will come forward to take it. And ordinarily, he is the penalty taker in matches. Scored one against Accrington. The defensive midfielder has had a fine game tonight in the engine room for Salford, with a chance to put Salford 3-2 up. Darlow bobbing up and down on his line, and he's blazed past him. Darlow dived to his left, and the penalty went the other way. Ryan Watson putting it away with clinical aplomb. It's Salford 3, Leeds 2. And there could be plenty for Leeds fans to react to tonight. On the sports bar, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. It follows us. 03717223344 is the number that will get you through. So much else to talk about tonight. Spurs knocked out on penalties. Number of extraordinary League Cup ties, but we've been treated to a belter here. Pressure on Willie Gnonto for Leeds. And he hits it right-footed really well. That's in, so it's 3-3, but still advantage Salford. And it's going to be the young Welsh striker Marcus Dackers who will make his way forward now. Loaned out to National League side Southend and Woking last season. He's never scored a senior goal in his career. 6'5" striker in his yellow boots. What a moment this is for Dackers, who came on for the injured Matt Smith late in the game. If he scores this, it will make it 4-3 to Salford after 4 penalties each, and he has! He just took one quick step back and then rifled it straight past Darlow. I don't think he was expecting it to be struck that quickly. What a good penalty under pressure that is from Dackers. It's 4-3, and if Leeds miss this, they're out. It's Sinistera who will come forward, and he's handed the ball by Darlow. Cairns told by referee Oliver Langford to get back on his line. If he saves it, or if Sinistera misses, Salford have knocked Leeds out of the League Cup. Sinistera's got to score to keep Leeds in it. Right-footed, and he's done exactly that. Cairns went the right way, but it was hit low and hard and past him. So Leeds live to fight another day. It's 4 penalties apiece, but Salford haven't missed one yet, and they have the chance to win it now with Conor McLennan. McLennan, who scored twice at Preston in round 1, played in the Scottish League Cup final in his Aberdeen days, but he has the chance to write a significant chapter in Salford City history here. They've never made it through to the 3rd round of the League Cup. If he scores this penalty, then they have done at the expense of Leeds, and he's hit the bar. He was about 1.5 inches away from getting it right. It rattles off the bar, which continues to reverberate. McLennan missing what would have been the decisive spot kick. We're into sudden death. 4-4 after 5 penalties each. And by definition, you're now kind of getting into the domain of the players that didn't really want to take one in the first place. Hjelde next up for Leeds. Young defender will hit this left-footed. Salford need another big moment from Cairns. Hjelde stops and then continues his run and scores. Just slotted it away. And just that little hesitation. He broke his stride but didn't stop completely. And that did enough just to see Cairns mistime his dive, and it's put in. So Kjelder scores 5-4 in the shootout in Leeds' favour. Next up for Salford City, Matthew Lund, who's in the Rochdale side that beat Leeds in the FA Cup 10 years ago. Lund has to score to keep Salford in it, and he does, although Darlow, in diving, got a strong left hand to it, but he couldn't take all the pace off it, and it still goes into the net. And it's 5 each after 6 penalties apiece. And if you're just tuning in to Talksport and wondering where the sports bar is, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be with you very shortly, right after the conclusion of this penalty shootout. Is it going to go Leeds United's way, or will Salford City take a notable scalp? Leeds United's Charlie Cresswell will take this next penalty. Had a brilliant loan spell last season at Millwall. Back in the Leeds first team now. Short run up, right footed into the roof of the net. His dad would have been proud of that one. A striker of some aplomb in his career, and Charlie's just dispatched that penalty with ease. A nerveless penalty from him that makes it 6-5 to Leeds. So next up for Salford City, it's going to be Luke Bolton. Bolton, the former Manchester City trainee. And he has the air of a slightly nervous man as he makes his way forward here. Darlow putting his hands up, touching the bar, making the goal look small. And he's sent him the wrong way. There's another really good penalty. And still it goes on. We've had 7 penalties each. And it is 6-6. Ethan Ampadu to try and get Leeds back ahead and put the pressure on the next Salford taker. Ampadu, who's never scored a goal in English football. The £10 million acquisition from Chelsea. Welsh international. A lot of international miles on the clock for one so young. He's still only 22. Not far short of 50 caps. Will his nerve fail him here? Ampadu against Alex Cairns. Another short run up, and he's hit the unconvincing penalty in past Cairns, who dived the right way, but it went under his body. Ampadu got enough pace on it. And still we go on. And here's a man who is experience personified. Adrian Mariappa. Played nearly 170 Premier League games. He's played in 2 FA Cup finals in his career. One with Palace, one with Watford. Nearly 500 first-team games, more than 70 internationals. Might never have taken a penalty in a penalty shootout before. He'll hit this right-footed. Mariappa, it's a really good penalty to keep it all square. Now, the players that haven't taken one so far for Leeds are Somerville and Shackleton, and it's going to be Somerville who will make his way forward now to take penalty number 9. And when you've got a forward that is only taking penalty number 9, that does perhaps betray a slight lack of confidence. Somerville missed a couple of really good chances in the game. Cairns made one brilliant save to deny him. What will Chris Somerville be able to do here? The former Feyenoord man. Just changing the slight line of approach to the ball, and he hits it right-footed into the top left-hand corner. About 6 feet up past the despairing dive of Cairns. And so it's still effectively dead level if Curtis Tilt scores this penalty for Salford. 8-7 the scoreline in Leeds' favour at the moment. And Tilt comes forward. Another Jamaican international. Former Wigan player. He's playing in the Championship last season. Tilt against Carl Darlow. Darlow saves this. Leeds have won. Tilt runs up left-footed, and so an emphatic penalty past the dive of Darlow. The ball coming back off the back of the net, straight to him, and he almost throws it up into the air in frustration. So it's going to be Shackleton for Leeds, followed by Ashley for Salford, unless one of the goalkeepers decides he's going to take one. It will be Shackleton next up. When these two sides met in the League Cup 4 years ago, Shackleton started that night. He's the only player who featured that night who's playing again today for either team. The 10th penalty of this shootout. 8 each at the moment. Shackleton hits the underside of the bar and it bounces back down in the inside the 6-yard box, and Salford have another chance to win it. They had one about 5-6 minutes ago when McLennan hit the bar, and now after Shackleton's miss, it's going to be Ashley. Ashley, who came close to giving Salford a 2-0 lead late in the first half with a header that went narrowly wide. The recent acquisition from Colchester, another player who's never scored a senior goal in his career. But if he puts this penalty away, Salford City will be in the third round of the League Cup for the first time in their history. It is Ashley, right-footed, saved by the diving Carl Darlow with his legs. Was he off his line? And the referee is going to produce a yellow card. Is he here for Darlow? He says he's encroached and the penalty will be retaken. It did look as though he was a long way forward. It was a slow, languid run-up from Ashley. Darlow gambling, had moved too early. He's had a yellow card for the encroachment. And so Osama Ashley has another chance to win it for Salford. A night of high drama. Just another little twist in the tail there. So can Carl Darlow save it legally this time? Ashley against Darlow. Salford win it. A brilliant penalty, the second time of asking. Carl Darlow makes his way off in dismay. Leeds United, who had 31 attempts in the 90 minutes to Salford 6. But they have been beaten. They are a club that have got a recent history of embarrassing cup defeats. Defeats of the likes of Histon and Sutton United. No real embarrassment here. They did everything but win it. A stack of chances. It was just their finishing that let them down. But the pitch invasion here at the Peninsula Stadium speaks of the joy that Salford feel. They've won a second round tie in this competition for the first time in their history. Leeds United are out and Salford are through to round 3. It finished 1-1 after 90 minutes and Salford win 9-8 on penalties.
Wow, what drama from Jim Proudfoot at the Peninsula. Magic stuff. And Salford make it through. If you want to get your calls in to Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, Sports Bar is on its way. 03717 223344. Just one more shootout to clear up at Reading tonight. Ian Abrahams.
Reading 2, Ipswich 2. Ipswich won the shootout 3-1. A totally woeful shootout from Reading. More to come on that in a minute. Reading ahead inside 2 minutes of Brandon Williams' own goal. Cancelled out right on half-time by Cameron Humphreys, who couldn't miss from a yard out. Freddie Ladapo seemed to have won it midway through the second half for Ipswich, latching onto a brilliant pass from Lee Evans before Kelvin Ihachibanman came on to score an equaliser 4 minutes from the end for Reading. And so to the shootout. After the first two were scored, one for each side, Reading's next 3 all missed. There was a good save to deny Charles Savage, but unfortunately he did miss. And then 2 were whacked over the bar. I mean whacked. Vickers is still going towards the moon, and then Ben Elliott followed his teammate by firing high into a stand that had no fans in it behind. Ipswich scored 3 of their 4 penalties. It means that they win 3-1 and go into round 2. For Reading, I suggest going to penalty shootout practice before the FA Cup starts for them, which will be in November. Finished here, Reading 2, Ipswich 2, and Ipswich win 3-1 on penalties.
Well, what an extraordinary night. Alvin Martin, very quickly. I feel like I've missed out. We saw a great game, 5 goals here at Kenilworth Road. Luton beating Gillingham 3-2. I've missed out on the shootout drama, though.
Yeah, well, no, that's fantastic. And did he do a great job of it? Jim Proudfoot, absolutely brilliant, you know. But no, that is the story of the night. I think that one, isn't it?
I would say that. Sheffield Wednesday going out as well. 2 Yorkshire clubs, championship sides. Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday went out to League 2 Salford and Mansfield respectively in shootouts tonight. Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara will be taking your calls on that and other news. 03717 223344. But Tottenham's the headline tonight, and Ball had a night off. It went to a shootout at Fulham, live on Talksport 2, and Spurs went all Spursy and went out.